Welcome into the Northwest Pennsylvania Area Health Education Center pregame the pregame show. My name is Sean Bednard, and we are in for a great night of hockey. Wednesday night hockey action from here in the Erie Insurance Arena. Hockey night in Erie featuring the Brampton Steelheads. First of 4 Wednesday night hockey games this season for the Otters here at home, and first of 5 straight home games for the Erie Otters to close out the month of November. And what a way to be able to do it. Having the Brampton Steelheads come to town for one final time, one final battle here at the Erie Insurance Arena. Erie looking for revenge from the home opener where the Brampton Steelheads were able to come away with a 5-2 victory over the Erie Otters. And with tonight's game going up against a very different pair of teams than the last time that these two teams met, both in positional standing and members of the roster, we're certainly in for an exciting one. Well, we are certainly in for an exciting night for multiple reasons as well, as our first game of a new program initiative alongside United Way of Erie County kicks off officially. To talk more about that is Trevor Cabella alongside Eric Levy of the United Way of Erie County.
Hey, thanks a lot, Sean. And we are down near the ice here with Eric from United Way. And tonight is the kickoff to their MVP Experience program with United Way of Erie County's Community Schools Initiative. Eric, can you first talk a little bit about what the initiative is and what tonight means?
Yeah, sure. So we are so pleased to be able to be partnering with the Erie Otters for this great initiative. This kind of came about, I wanted to kind of recognize student achievement in the classroom and beyond that, and just in the community. So basically, we have community school directors in all 17 of our United Way of Erie County community schools, and I tasked them with letting me know about an exceptional student, whether that's good grades, good attendance, just a leader. I wanted them to tell me about that, and then I was going to bring them to the game, let them partake in some of the activities. So we're going to have a ceremonial puck drop. We're going to have watching the warm-ups from the bench, video board recognition. I think it's just a fun way to have family engagement and to kind of let the kids have a night out that they might not otherwise be able to get, especially on a weekday. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how it goes. This is the first one. So I hear that Nas Smith, who is the student from Erie High, this is his first hockey game, I hear. So I'm really excited to see how he does.
Pretty exciting for Nas and for you guys. How cool is it to kind of have the opportunity to bring something like this here to light?
Oh, it's very cool. I mean, Erie is a hockey town. The Erie Otters are so good. Everyone likes to come see them. Just being able to share that experience with students is just such a remarkable thing.
For Nas as well, how exciting is it, do you think, for him to be able to have this opportunity and again, for you guys to be able to bring something cool to him?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's going to be an exciting opportunity. United Way, we have our community school model, which is in all 17 of our schools. It is designed to break down the non-academic barriers that students and their families face. So giving them experiences like this to thrive. But yeah, I just think it's going to be a great experience, and I'm really excited to see how it goes.
Well, really exciting night, Eric. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you so much.
Sean, we'll send it back up to you. A great night here with United Way.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, Eric. And in a little bit, we'll be saying thank you to Nas Smith for coming out. Ceremonial puck drop, warm-ups to the bench, and a whole lot more as we get to hear the story of a terrific young man from Erie High School, running back, safety, marketing student, doing all the right things in his educational journey. When we come back here on the NWPA AHEC pregame the pregame show, we'll talk more about great things going on from the Erie Otters organization here on a Wednesday night. When it comes to health education in the Erie region, Northwest Pennsylvania AHEC is the name to know. But what is AHEC? Do they provide education to high school students on health careers?
AHEC does that.
Continued medical education for professionals?
AHEC does that.
Training for community health workers?
AHEC does that.
And even more?
AHEC, yeah, they do that.
Learn more today at nwpaahec.org. Northwest Pennsylvania Area Health Education Center, advancing Pennsylvania's health through education.
Our team at the Erie Otters are here to support Second Harvest Food Bank along with Erie News Now
in their food drive that they're doing here annually, and we're excited to be here.
Lots of people are pulling up, donating money, canned goods, and turkeys and hams. It means a lot. Just getting everybody in the community together working, seeing the need is really great, and just letting everybody know how important it is to help out our neighbors. Good Thanksgiving dinner brings together the community and family, so it's really nice to be able to get this out to the community so they can enjoy a nice, warm Thanksgiving dinner next week.
This time of year, it's a time of giving, and for us to have our second event within the month, it's super important for us to do that, and kind of carry over from the event that we did with the Otters to now with Erie News Now and Benefit Second Harvest. I think it's very nice for us to do this as a team and organization to support it. No day like the game day. So, for us, I think, it's going to be a long day, but again, it's a beautiful day out. It's sunny out, rain's holding off. So what better way to stand out here and to give support to a great organization that what they're doing.
Any final thoughts? Whole lot of fun and a much nicer day out than it is now. They're at the Second Harvest Food Bank Food Drive alongside Erie News Now and Happy 927. Bright and sunny for Otto and our entire staff to go out then. A little bit wetter out there now, but it is such an honor and so humbling to be able to work alongside Second Harvest Food Bank for the second time in the month of November to be able to help those in need ahead of the holiday season. And the little things of donating our time and our energy and our arms to be able to assist those in need alongside so many terrific individuals, it's truly a wonderful thing. And we were so humbled to be able to do it. And we look forward to being able to do it again. It's been an annual event for so long for the Erie Otters. When we come back here on the NWPA AHEC Pregame the Pregame show, we will get you ready for tonight's game with everything you need to know. When it comes to health education in the Erie region, Northwest Pennsylvania AHEC is the name to know. But what is AHEC? Do they provide education to high school students on health careers?
AHEC does that.
Continued medical education for professionals?
AHEC does that.
Training for community health workers?
AHEC does that.
And even more?
Heck yeah, they do that.
Learn more today at nwpaahec.org. Northwest Pennsylvania Area Health Education Center, advancing Pennsylvania's health through education. Welcome back into the NWPA AHEC Pregame the Pregame show. It is a rainy Wednesday night in downtown Erie, Pennsylvania, but it's going to be a good one with the Brampton Steelheads in town. If you are a local college student looking for something to do on a Wednesday night, there is nothing better to do than come on down to the EIA. College BOGO offer is in effect. Buy one ticket, get one free. You must show a valid student ID at the box office. Do not miss out on this. You're going to regret it. Hey, if you're coming out and you're looking to get something special for a special kiddo in your life, our merch item of the game presented by Rebich Investments will help take care of that for you. That is while supplies last at the Otters Den team store. Tell Darcy and the team that the pregame show sent you. Roscoe's Sports Bar and Grill player to watch for tonight's game. Who else but the big rig? Sam Alfano, a top 5 shooter in the entire Ontario Hockey League in terms of quantity, and his quality of shots has certainly been there as well. We'll look to see what he can do. He always is good for a big goal against the Steelheads. And hey, if you can't join us here tonight, we certainly hope that you'll tune in. It's going to be a great broadcast on the Otters Radio Network and on CHL TV. Going to have a whole lot of fun here. Brampton Steelheads are in town for the final time, and the Erie Otters looking for a little bit of a fish fry on a Wednesday night. We'll talk to you soon. Go Otters. is hockey night in Erie, Pennsylvania, and we are in for an absolute treat. The Erie Otters, the Brampton Steelheads, and a great night of hockey action with two teams fighting and battling for contention here tonight. Thank you for joining us on the Otters Broadcast Network on CHL TV and Rock Entertainment Sports Network. Sean Bednard, Trevor Cabello alongside me. Trevor, this is a familiar foe, but for all the wrong reasons for the Erie Otters. History of the last few years has been in favor of the Brampton Steelheads, but two teams in different directions at this point.
Yeah, I believe the Steelheads are 9-3-1 over the last 5 years against the Erie Otters. So it's been a bit of a rough go for Erie, but you've got two teams kind of going in different directions right now. The Steelheads are banged up. They've got, I believe, 7 players dealing with injuries right now. Where the Erie Otters, they're kind of hitting their stride, right? I think they were probably in a better place when we last talked from this rink in last Saturday against the Sarnia Sting versus where they are now after only getting 3 of the 6 points on the road trip. But hey, that's a long road trip. Now you're back home. You're back home for the next 5 games, right? So you've got to probably take 4 of these 5 games if you're the Erie Otters. Big time in the schedule. Now they've got to try and get it going. It all starts here tonight with a Steelheads team. Again, you maybe catch them at the right time.
And if you're the Erie Otters, you're catching something at the right time, and that is home cooking. The Erie Otters have played so many road games. They just got off one of their longest, if not their longest, at least in terms of mileage, road trips of the season that you were just a part of. Now Erie gets 5 straight games on home ice. They close out the month of November here in the friendly confines, and they get a chance to go up against some teams that have given them some trouble, but now they get to do it in front of their hometown faithful.
Yeah, and a chance to kind of try and rectify some things here on home ice, and we'll see if the Otters will be able to step up and do that against, a Sioux Greyhounds team that beat them. Kitchener is one of the top teams in the league, and then you look at Owen Sound, that's a winnable game. You got to have that one, and then the Flint Firebirds, Erie's beating them. Flint beat them last time in a very feisty game. So you've got 5 games that you look at it on paper, they're very winnable games. However, you got to go out there and do it, and I think this is a big-time prove-it stretch for the Otters.
Winnable games only mean that much on paper. You gotta play the game, and tonight, the only game in town, the only game in the Ontario Hockey League is right here in the Erie Insurance Arena. Brampton Steelheads, Erie Otters, coming up in just a little bit.
Yeah, obviously, anytime you only give up 2 goals, I think your team expects to give itself a good chance to win. I thought they did a great job of blocking the middle of the ice in the third period. They blocked a lot of shots. We had a lot of zone time, generated some chances, and sometimes pucks just don't get through. So I thought our guys battled really hard. We gave ourselves a chance to win and just came up a little short. This is a group that expects more. I mean, 3 out of 6 at one time, would have been seen as a win probably. I think we were going into this fully expecting to come out of here with 5 out of 6 points, and that would be a successful weekend. It's okay, but it's certainly not what we were aiming for.
3-game road trip for the Erie Otters. You take on all Western Conference foes. Good part, you're done going that way. You don't go to the Sioux again. You don't go to Flint again. You don't go to Saginaw again. Bad? You probably should have got a little more than 3 points on that road trip, but they took down the Saginaw Spirit. They went to overtime with a Sioux Greyhounds team that seems to be on the uptick. It's the loss in Flint that's kind of that question mark, and especially it hurts your backup goaltender, Charlie Burns, who is looking for more of that confidence. He goes into Flint, where he won his only game this season. He pitches you a 28-30 game, and your offense doesn't show up for one night on the road trip. But again, it's the final game of a 3-4. You've been on the road. You were on the road for what, 5 or 6 days? You're exhausted, but it just felt like, again, and Wes Wolf just talked about it. You go home with 5 of 6, terrific road trip. You go into it saying we get 3 of 6, you're happy with it. But knowing what the 3 of 6 was going into Flint, you just think about the what if of that Flint game.
Yeah, I think that's the one that really sticks out, right? Because Charlie Burns, like you mentioned right there, partner, he was unbelievable. And I don't know what it is about the Dord Financial Center, but I think Charlie Burns enjoys playing there. He's been just fantastic. And I think for him, he was definitely a little frustrated that he didn't get the opportunity to play at home in the Sioux. But, he also mentioned, hey, right now, maybe, Noah's the guy, right? And I think he's just such a great kid when it comes to understanding, right, and knowing that. But he comes in with a lot to prove, and I think he proved it. I think we're going to get to see him a little bit more over this homestand with the way that the games shake out, and maybe an opportunity to play his hometown team here on Friday. But that's the game, right, where Paul Flash's system, they want to be tough to play against. That's what the Flint Firebirds are, and that's what they're going to be. He did a really nice job, I thought, in the way that they came out to attack in the third period. They did exactly what Erie did to them the last time the Otters were in that building, where the Otters, they couldn't get shots through. There were always guys in the lanes blocking shots, just not allowing Nathan Day to have to come up with that big save. And for the Otters, you look back and say, hey, these are some opportunities we want to capitalize on, and unfortunately they were unable to do so. But you look at the game in Saginaw, that's a huge win,
Yes.
a big morale-boosting win against a Saginaw team who really just hammered Erie in the first appearance in that building. So now for them to have that win under their belt and to really shut down Michael Misa, I think that was a big-time positive. And now you go into tonight and want to do the same with a guy like Porter Martone and some of the superstars in this Brampton squad. But, again, you look at the game in the Sioux, kind of going in reverse order here. That was one, I think it's a good point. You're on the road. Brady Martin gets a hat trick, but you get that highlight reel goal from Schaefer. I think they were able to it's a good point in that rink. So far from home, first game of the trip against a pretty good team. I think you got to be happy with just getting out of there with a 1.
Well, and you talked to Mike Karafalidis, the radio play-by-play voice of the Brampton Steelheads. I mean, how many nights do they stay in a hotel the entire season? Less than 5, less than 10? I talked to Matthew Schaefer earlier this week, and I said, it was early in the week, you still have some of the sleepies in the eyes. I saw you come into the office on Tuesday with the same, and I say, hey, is it good to be home? And, he gave that classic Schaefer smile, and he said, yeah, it's good to be home, but I think you need those kind of road trips. And you played hockey growing up. You know how it is. When you get those long road trips, you bond with your teammates in a way that you just can't do it here in the locker room or do it, after practice when you're going out to eat. It's about that time on the bus. And yeah, you're on the bus for 12 hours and your back's hurting a little bit and you want to get off, but having the opportunity, even if you don't come away with all the points, even if you don't come away with that, chemistry is essential in this game and especially essential for a team that is on the rise. And a road trip like this where you have to start to like the people that you're with for 6 days straight, it's critical. And I think the Otters are going to be a lot better for it, even if the points didn't come.
That's huge, and that's the first of 3 of these 5-day-long vacations almost, at least for me, right? I get to go watch hockey and talk about it in a little week away from home. So, hey, I don't mind exploring some new cities. But, for these guys, right, like any time that you're around your teammates is just so good. And when you're away from home, and these guys do hang out a lot.
Yes,
I think that's one thing that we are very blessed with here in Erie is we have a pretty close-knit group of guys that all like each other and enjoy hanging out with each other, but it's just something special about it. And, Ken Paroff said it best. The best teams are best friends because you want to go out and block that shot late in the game and just go to battle. And again, it's cliche, go to battle for the guy next to you, right? But that is so true, especially in this league, especially at this age group. It is massive when you have a group of guys who, again, are willing to do anything for that guy sitting next to them.
And being able to get a few of those key pieces back were the Erie Otters as they were able to return Lucas Ambrosio, Tyler Challenger, and Wes Wolf back into the lineup, coming back from Sarnia. You joked with them, coming back from Sarnia all the way around the bend of the lake to go right back up underneath the lake, upward. Here's what they had to say about their experience coming back to the Otters and what this team's meant to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool coming into this league. I think this league's amazing, and just getting experience here it's good, so yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun. It takes some getting used to, but the guys helping out, the coaching staff, just preparing you, watching video, preparing your gameplay, just going through the steps, and I feel like that definitely helps settle the nerves and just helps you get going.
They're teaching me a lot. Every practice, I feel like I'm getting better, and just being around these guys, I feel like I'm getting better, so yeah.
Yeah, you said it perfect. I would say the speed's the main thing, and like you said, the gap control practicing. Like we got time after practice or even during practice skills. I work on my gaps, just as a team, decor, getting better on that, improving that, and looking at the stats, and that's a big thing for us. So just keep working at that.
Coming here as a rookie, just learning, I feel like I'm just being like a sponge. That'll help me a lot.
OHL Live on CHL TV.
What a goal by Michael Mesa!
Every goal.
What a rip!
Every save.
What a save by Oscar!
On every device.
Doesn't get better than that!
Here's the rookie. Schaefer shoots and scores!
In every market.
Beckett Seneca scores!
All season long.
Green Tree went through! Green Tree scores!
Subscribe now at watch.chl.ca. OHL Live, the home of every OHL game.
Welcome back to the Otters Hockey pregame show, and welcome on in to another edition of Across the Ice, getting to know tonight's opponent. And for the final time in this building this season, it's the Erie Otters and the Brampton Steelheads, and so pleased to be joined by Seattle Kraken prospect Carson Rakoff. Carson, thanks for taking some time, man. First of all, how's the settling in process been for you here in Brampton?
Oh, it's been good. I mean, the guys have been great to me. Coaches have been great. I mean, obviously kind of going through a lot of injuries right now, but we're feeling better, so we're on the right track.
It's been kind of up and down. What have you seen from your group so far throughout the first part of the season?
A lot of resilience. I mean, we haven't really had it the easiest way. It's kind of what we were talking about there. Probably the craziest hire I've seen since being in this league. I just think 7 guys out. So, I mean, we're just trying to fight through it. Obviously, it's unfortunate, but just got to keep going.
Yeah, always tough, right? Battle through those injuries. What has been some of the keys to your success in fitting in so far this season?
Yeah, I think I've been playing well with line mates. I mean, been clicking 5-on-5, which is always nice and it's important. So yeah, just got to keep going with them.
Awesome, man. Appreciate the time. Thank you so much, and looking forward to what should be a fun one tonight.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, we'll step aside, take a break. More to come from the Erie Insurance Arena. You are watching the Otters Hockey pregame show.
Carson Rakoff, certainly no stranger to this building from all the times playing the Kitchener Rangers and the Erie Otters here. But as we take a look at a team that's not the Kitchener Rangers, as we take a look at the team that is the 9th team in the Eastern Conference in the Brampton Steelheads, we talk about a team that is, it's tough to say. They're not meeting the expectations, but they don't have the weapons that they're supposed to at this point of the season. And it's tough to judge how Team of Good is, but a good friend of mine always said, you're only as good as the standings say that you are. And right now, Brampton is that team, and the Erie Otters are the 4th place team.
Yeah, certainly so, but I feel like this is a Brampton team that is a hot streak away from climbing right back up those Eastern Conference standings. And once they start to get some of these guys back, right, and they start to get healthy, I think that's when we're going to see the Steelheads really start to turn it on. They could be one of those teams that they get hot right at the end of the season going into the playoffs, and then they could be one of those teams that you do not want to run into come March and April.
Well, the Erie Otters hopefully, maybe, catching the Brampton Steelheads at the right time, because again, I think you looked at the stat, 5 years it's been for the Erie Otters. Brampton/Mississauga, 9-4-3 in that stretch of time. It has been a one-sided affair. In fact, I think we were talking about earlier today, last time that I can remember the Erie Otters beating the then Mississauga Steelheads, St. Patrick's Day 2022, or 23. What I'm saying is it's been a very long time for these two teams, and now I think Erie gets the opportunity to bounce over this team.
I believe your memory serves you correct, because the Steelheads swept the season series last year.
Oh, I remember.
And yeah, of course, a couple rough ones there in our final visits to the Paramount Fine Food Center in Mississauga. But hey, they're now in Brampton, right? And a new opportunity here for the Otters, looking for their first win in 5 tries against the Steelhead team.
It's the Erie Otters and it's the Brampton Steelheads. The only show in town, the only game in the Ontario Hockey League here tonight, and it's a grudge match. These two cities aren't too far from each other. We're going to take a very quick break here. When we come back, Otters Hockey here on a Wednesday night, downtown Erie. Good things are brewing in Erie at Lavery Brewing Company. Lavery is an independent craft brewery creating innovative ales, traditional lagers, and beer that gives back. Their quickly expanding urban brew pub also offers modern American cuisine in a cozy atmosphere. Located just blocks from the Erie Insurance Arena at 128 West 12th Street. Grab a pregame pint and support local. Lavery Brewing, brewing innovative ales in small batches. For more information, head to laverybrewing.com. Well, an exciting night of hockey action is due up on the horizon very quickly here. And as we get ready for what promises to be a fun one, let's introduce you, of course, to my favorite section every single game night Of course, Arcubea's Keys. Trevor, what are we looking at here tonight, starting off with the Brampton Steelheads?
So we went fish themed today with our final home game with the Brampton Steelheads in town. Started with fishnet, right? Of course, find the back of the net. Quite simple. When the Steelheads are scoring, and they're usually scoring a high number of goals. So I mentioned this earlier on today that it feels like the Steelheads either score 10 or give up 10. They need to score well here tonight. An active fish, again, be active in the offensive zone, continue to be hard on pucks, win these battles. And then you look on the Otters side of things, bait and tackle again, bait them in, right? Play strong in your defensive zone, hook, line, and sinker. Kind of that same vibe, right? Again, winning these big puck battles and being strong in the defensive zone is a big key for Erie here tonight. I think they got to go out and shut down a guy like a Carson Rakoff and some of these superstars and Porter Martone and all these great players you see with this Steelheads team.
Erie Otters are making their way out onto the ice. They will be in their home whites, and on the opposing side, the Brampton Steelheads in their road blues. And it's going to be an awful good one here tonight. Wednesday night hockey, only game in town, and it's not too often in the OHL that you get to be the lone and the premier game, but I think this is a fitting contest to have such be.
It is. When you've got a bunch of guys, you look at Matthew Schaefer, Malcolm Spence, Porter Martone, all on the ice together. There are a lot of scouts and a lot of folks here. In fact, right in front of us right there is Kyle Dubas, of course, Pittsburgh Penguins general manager. So there are a lot of very important people in the building tonight, and for good reason.
To the carpet. Thank you, guys.
Now we introduce you to a young man named Naz Smith.
Community Schools program, the Otters organization will work to recognize exceptional students in our community. Kicking off this program is Naz Smith of Erie High School. A leader in and out of the classroom, Naz plays both safety and running back for Erie High and is a student leader for the school's marketing program. Keep up the great work, Naz.
And Trevor, of course, you got the opportunity to talk to our good friends at United Way of Erie County, Eric Levy, and talk about this program. What a great thing to be able to offer. I know we were both students who loved hockey, and I think the opportunity to be able to be spotlighted at a hockey game was so special.
It's so cool and a great way to honor great work in the classroom.
And his first hockey game, if I'm not mistaken.
And welcome students from Springfield and Northwestern Elementary Schools performing O Canada and the Star Spangled Banner tonight.
It's the Erie Otters. It's the Brampton Steelheads, and it is a great night for hockey action here in downtown Erie, Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. It is going to be a good one. Only game in town as the Steelheads and the Otters get ready to do battle. Trevor, we've been looking forward to this one. It's one that's been circled on our personal calendars because this is a revenge match for the home opener back in September.
Great opportunity for the Otters to, again, kind of return the favor to what the Steelheads were able to do to them the first time that these two teams met back on September 28th. Getting the home games out of the way early for Erie, and then they will visit Brampton on December 8th. That'll be on the next road trip, in fact. And then coming up in February as well. So for Erie, a matter of trying to even up the season series, a 4-game season series. We go East versus West.
And we get to look at our goaltending matchup tonight because it's a good one. We have got Jack Ivankovic going up against Noah Erliden, two premier goaltenders in their respective conferences.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see many find the back of the net tonight. Ivankovic has been just phenomenal for the Steelheads, and the same can be said about Noah Erliden coming off of a bit of a rougher night in Saginaw. Didn't see it as well as we've been accustomed to for Noah, so hopefully he'll be back in. Hey, he's got back-to-back home shutouts riding into this one as well. He's been great on home ice.
Trevor, you know what the perfect cure for getting rid of a bad performance is? Have a good performance.
There you go, and hey, for Noah Erliden, he has just been phenomenal in this building. He'll look to keep that up here against a very potent offense. I mean, you look at this top line, Misa, Martone, and Rakoff. Doesn't get much better than that for Brampton.
No, it certainly does, and you've got some talent on this squad. You obviously got the chance to talk to Carson Rakoff earlier on today. He knows that there's work to be done, and he's hoping to be a part of that work here. Two teams line up at center ice. We are underway from downtown Erie, PA. Thank you for joining us here on CHL TV and Rock Entertainment Sports Network. Back inside of the defensive end, this one moving its way back up along the near wall. Down it'll go, Alfano battling this one up against Reed G. Down it'll go, along the near wall, below the goal line. Erie looking to get their offense going after a rare one-goal performance against the Flint Firebirds on Saturday night. This is a team that usually is built to score at will. They have been remarked by multiple coaches as a squad with 3 deep lines that can all get you. Shot in, and Noah Erliden gets that first save out of the way. And how about this, a little bit of an early collision, early discussion. It's Porter Martone up in the mix.
And not a guy you would expect to be up in that type of mix, especially only 36 seconds into proceedings here tonight. But Martone not too happy with something there, and the Otters making sure to keep him away from Noah Erliden, as far away at least as possible. And a good glove save. Good for Erliden to get an early puck touch here in this hockey game. Get the glove onto it, hang on for a draw.
Is it too early to talk about what a phenomenal player and a phenomenal prospect Porter Martone is turning into young in his career?
I don't think it's ever too early. He is just fantastic for these Steelheads. Their leading scorer here at the top of the list.
Porter Martone this season finding 16 goals, 21 assists, and having an absolute dandy of a year. Back below the goal line. This one played toward the front of the net. Ivankovic looking back after it. Finding its way to the blue line, and it will be brought out of the zone. So each squad with a shot, and we'll see if any of those shots in today's game turn into goal opportunities. Below the goal line, this one finds its way back. Jakob Fibiger working it down, finding its way on pinball action up to the right wing side for Adam Zhidlicki. Zhidlicki below the goal line. Battle forward inside of the trapezoid, out the right wing side. Edwards, man, he had a great weekend. Another guy who had a great weekend, Kerry Terrance, just cleared the zone with it.
And another dumped it in Wesley Royston. That line really playing well.
Boy, Wesley Royston might be playing the most understated game of hockey on the entire Erie Otters roster right now. He is just finding goals because he's working.
He does. He works so hard, and I think he fits in so well with the two guys that they've got him playing with. And they've all really played off each other well, and they've been Erie's most successful line recently.
Back below the goal line, this one will go inside of the Erie defensive end. Battled for, bottom of the right circle, now moved up, mid-slot, shot in. Erliden with a save. This one put up in the air. Messier looking for it to the blue line, and out of the zone it'll go. And you'll hear later on from head coach Sam Butler talking about the development of young guys and how you don't want to rush them because all the life things that occur in becoming a 16-year-old in this league, and how the jump from minor midget to the OHL might be the hardest jump in sports. Back below the goal line, this one will go is Lucas Ambrosio. Good to see him back in the Navy and gold after some time with Team Canada Red. Up and out of the zone, this one will go from the right wing side. Here's Clark bringing it in, top of the right circle, Tyler Challenger. Back to Ambrosio, shot in, and this one goes up and out of play. And for the first time, we get to talk about these guys who we did not see at home in the last bit of stretch. Tyler Challenger, Lucas Ambrosio, gold medal and silver medals for those two guys. And boy, it's special to have your first two picks both go into the World U17s and both come home with medals.
Yeah, it is. It's incredible. And for a guy like Tyler Challenger, had a chance to come on the trip and get back into it for Lucas Ambrosio, his first game back. And both guys that are going to make an impact down the stretch for this team.
And apropos of nothing, and I know we talk about this a lot on this network, but we get the opportunity to be and work really close with these guys, both terrific human beings. Just, you like to see good guys have success, and when you have talent and good character, I mean, that's just the kind of character it seems Dave Brown and staff look for.
That is certainly the case, not only on the ice, but around the organization as well. As Carson Rakoff, my goodness, his wrist shot is something else as he enters in over the line right there, snaps one toward the goal. Erliden got the end of his stick on it to knock it out of play, but boy, Carson Rakoff, when he's got the space, wow, he is just an unbelievable sharpshooter.
We've seen what he can do when he's wearing the color blue. Granted, that was the blue sweater of the Kitchener Rangers. And to see him on the opposing side, you're happy if you're Erie in a sense that you don't have to see him 6 times a year, but anytime you have to see him, you know you have to keep an eye on him. Back below the goal line, this one will go. A bit of equal time in either offensive end as the Erie Otters look to get back into their offensive zone. Spence, top of the left circle, and Ivan Kovic able to make the save there. As we get you our trivia question for today, Trevor, our trivia questions have been not super successful for us in terms of answering. Today is, what percent of active NHL players have come from the OHL? Oh man, I think it's from the OHL specifically. I'm going to guess it's 41%.
I was going to say somewhere probably in the 30s or 40s, I would say. It's a pretty good number. I'm going to go a little lower than you. I'm going to say in the 30s.
Okay. Well, if it was the Canadian Hockey League, if I'm not mistaken, it's about 70%.
It's probably 70 or 80% if it's the CHL proper, but you've got to think of guys coming from overseas as well.
Well, I know Christian Wiley, the general manager of the Port Colborne Sailors, you're going to learn a little bit more about them in just over a week. He said it best. All roads go through the CHL now. With the NCAA agreement, if you want to go to the next level, you're going to want to be affiliated with a Canadian Hockey League club in some form or facet.
Especially now, right? I think that's a decision. We got to talk about it a little bit in Niagara a couple of weeks ago. It changes everything, and especially for the CHL and the NCAA for the better. It's just going to help the product, and Stan Butler talked a lot about that during media availability this week. So, again, that number I feel like is just going to continue to rise.
And we get the opportunity here. Obviously, if you're the Brampton Persuasion, you won't get to hear about it, but later this week, we'll get a chance to look at a Kitchener Ranger who came over from the British Columbia Hockey League, and you'll hear Stan Butler's thoughts on really what this means for the sport of hockey. And good news, if you're of the OHL or NCAA persuasion, it strikes really good news for our two organizations. Meanwhile, back to hockey action. Erie looks to bring this one back into their offensive end. Over from the left wing side it'll go. Here's Jakob Fibiger moving it up, and this one finds its way back inside of the corner. Nicholas Halamago, another one of those good Northern Ontario kids, just like Charlie Burns, moves this one back to the blue line. Hammond battling for it, and down it'll go. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Halamago family gave you a bag of bow ties, correct?
They did indeed, in a very nice card, so big shout out to them. In fact, the one I'm rocking tonight, that was a gift from them, so huge thank you to them. Had a good chat with them in the Sioux last week.
They are just salt of the earth. All the Northern Ontario families are, and all the families we've gotten the chance to interact with, they're just good-hearted people. Out from the left wing side, this one finds its way back in through neutral ice. 4-2 shots favoring the Erie Otters, as tracking this one back below the goal line was Noah Erliden. Erie looking back as it finds its way out of the zone. Moved over left wing side. Harding, that's not Finn Harding, that's Jared Harding. As below the goal line, it'll go back for Ty Henry, Chicago Blackhawks prospect that just continues to get better and better as his OHL career goes on. Worked in left wing side. This will move down by Martin Vakulik, Vakulik, and it'll find its way out to neutral ice. Erie back inside of their defensive end. Under 15 minutes remaining here in period number 1. It's been a back and forth game with not a lot of flow for either side just yet.
And neither team has really been able to establish what they're trying to do and see if Erie can maybe do something with the fourth line on the ice right now.
Tyler Challenger, who moved up to first line for Team Canada White at the World U17s and brought home a gold medal. Trying to pass this one up, it finds its way out of the zone. Phillips, Matthew Schaefer. Boy, we're going to talk a lot about him this week, and for multiple reasons on and off the ice. More on that later on. Challenger below the goal line. Themis waiting for it. Themis back blue line shot in, and a save made by Ivan Kovic. 14:03 to go, and a little bit more of the rough stuff happening in front of the net of Ivan Kovic.
Jack Clark in there once again. He was at the heart of a lot of the rough stuff going on in Flint on Saturday, and once again getting tied up with Cartwright right in front of Jack Ivankovic, who smartly, he gets right out of there. He's back behind the net. Just, hey, you guys do your thing. I'm just going to hang out over here. Don't want to get involved.
Listen, you'll find some hothead goaltenders. We've seen a few in the last couple weeks. I go back to Niagara specifically, but most goaltenders are going to want to stay away, stay out of the play.
Well, Ivankovic, though, he was involved with Owen Flores back earlier on this season. So, I mean, hey, maybe he doesn't mind getting involved, but maybe he's kind of, that was a phase, right? Now he's back to being chill.
You think he grew out of it a little
bit?
He got
exactly.
out of the system, right. It's like when you get a puppy, you got a puppy train, it gets the aggression out of the way. You're not a dog person, though, Trevor. It's not your fault. Back inside of the neutral zone it'll go. This one finding its way in from the right wing side out to the neutral zone. Sauter brings this one back in. 13:44 to go in the first period. Shots are 5-2 Erie. Otters taking it, top of the right circle. Alfano lost back and moved away by Carson Rakoff. Rakoff brought in. Schaefer takes it away. Nathan Sauter moved it back blue line, and Schaefer has to clean up as it finds its way back into the defensive end. Themis, nice pass out of the zone for Schaefer. Good movement forward, and Spence just misses his target in Alfano. The setup leading into that, though, was so good.
That was gorgeous from Schaefer and Spence connecting on the pass, just right on the same page. And that's something that's really interesting to see with those two guys. Again, two guys projected to go very high in this summer's draft.
Back below the goal line it'll go, and back for an icing with 13:01 remaining in the first. We step aside for the media timeout.
My OHL is a place to talk. So Talk Today has a number of elements. First and foremost, we support the players. We provide mental health and awareness training and suicide prevention training to them. And we have a coach that's in every one of our branches that supports an OHL team. And in years to come, these individuals that are playing in the OHL now will be great mental health champions.
Smile, Cam, and plenty to smile about because it's a work night, it's a school night, but it's hockey night in downtown Erie.
I absolutely love these midweek games. I was always a big fan of them growing up because it kind of gave you something to look forward to in the middle of the week, right? And again, even now working, it's great to have a Wednesday night game. So, and the Otters have had a couple of them recently, and a lot of Thursday games as well here. The weekends have usually been getting started rather early for the Otters, and that's going to continue a little bit when they go back on the road in December. So a couple of Wednesdays. You've got the Thanksgiving Eve coming up next week with a teddy bear toss, and plenty of weekend fun as well.
Certainly is. This is the first of 4 Wednesday home games this season. It's not typically a night of the week that you see too often here at the Erie Insurance Arena, but between tonight and then you get the opportunity for Bears and Beers next week, which, boy, that is going to be something special. It's always fun. And Trevor, you know, it's these midweek games that really help break up the monotony of the week. I mean, it's the reason that Thursday Night Football has been so successful for the NFL. It's the same thing that's working here in the OHL. By the way, OHL, if you haven't seen the news of late, attendance is up over 2% year over year from last year. So the hockey bug is catching on big time here in Major Junior Hockey. Back below the goal line, Dylan Edwards battling back for this one, gets it down for Carey Terrance. Terrance battling back after this one, finding its way up and out of the zone and into the neutral zone to the defensive end. It'll go for Lucas Ambrosio. Moved into the defensive end, Jakob Fibiger for the Steelheads, up to Porter Martone. Martone back in defensive ice, worked up for Fibiger. Fibiger, nice defensive play down there from Lucas Ambrosio, working its way back down and in. And an unusual but successful thing for Lucas Ambrosio. Usually you don't want to see a defenseman reach with the stick too much, but if you're going to execute a poke check, you have to execute, and he did that just there.
Well, he's a big kid with a pretty long stick, and he's able to use that really, really well in the defensive zone. He's so strong in his own end.
Back below the goal line, this one will go. Shots are 5-3 in favor of the Erie Otters. They still can't clear the zone with it, though. Martone, bottom of the left circle, back below the goal line. Moving its way up, top of the left circle, Jakob Fibiger, back below the goal line, it'll go. Working over right wing side. Moved in, shot off the goal post. Sometimes the pipe is the goaltender's best friend, and it works out right there. He has been, Noah Erliden, that is a recipient of plenty of successful pipe jobs here in Erie.
I think that was more of a shot pass from Carson Rakoff that ended up maybe deflecting off of the post. That was a pretty wicked effort from Rakoff over on the far hash marks and letting it fly, and hey, you never know what could happen even from an angle like that.
Yeah, you always put the pucks on net because good things happen when you put the pucks on net, even if it's not the prettiest shot. A lot of things can happen between that shot from the stick and the back of the net. Bottom of the left circle, Femus throws one on net, trying to jam away at it, and this one will be taken away as it's moved up and away by Owen Cartwright. Back in, bottom of the left circle, moving down and in, they score! 10:45 to go in period number 1, and the Erie Otters strike first blood on home ice.
What a drive to the front of the net. Pano Femus, who has been a bit quiet as of late. That's his 26th point of the season. That's his 9th of the year for the Otters' leading scorer. This is just an excellent play, just letting him go to work. He's such a strong skater and able to show it off right there. And that goal, it seems like we've seen that one on replay multiple times here in this building this year. And he's able to fly to the front of the net and give Erie a 1-0 lead.
I think Pano Femus is open scoring now on home ice in back-to-back games, and I think he has goals on home ice in back-to-back-to-back games. He loves playing for the hometown faithful here, and they respond by plenty of praise.
Otters 10-3-1-1 while scoring first as well, so they're going to hope to try and continue that stat here.
We get another look at the goal here.
Unassisted.
Unassisted goal, and sometimes you do the work yourself, and Pano Femus, well, he's about as good as anybody with the stick.
Well, he's the type of guy that would assist himself on a goal because he's such a great assist man, and Pano Femus right there again, just really good all-effort play to create the space for himself and get a good shot away to beat Ivan Kovic, who again it's easier said than done to get one past number 72 in blue and white.
Trevor, I don't say this lightly. I've experienced a lot of hockey players in my 7-6 years of working professionally in the sport of hockey. Pano might be one of the smartest hockey players that I've ever interacted with. He sees the game differently.
He really does. He's such a great leader as well, so he's able to really kind of put that wisdom on some of these younger players as well, and guys like Jack Clark and Brett Hammond and some of the rookies.
Another shot thrown on net, and the Otters will look for this one back below the goal line. Erie's feeling it now. They've got an 8-4 shot advantage. Obviously, they're up on home ice, and they just got to keep the pedal on the metal as we cross the halfway mark of period number 1. Up along the near wall, Adam Zhidlicki as an Otter comes flying in. That was Brett Hammond, and back below the goal line it'll go. Here's Nicholas Alamego with it. Move up, back to the blue line, out of the zone. Here's Dylan Edwards. He's crafty as anyone in the OHL. Bottom of the right circle, and just missing the net with that one. Again, he had a little bit of a dry spell there as this one finds its way for Royston. Edwards had a bit of a dry spell, but boy, once he got that first one, it was a waterfall of points. Top of the left circle, it'll go. Here's Schaefer with it. Moved over left wing side. Royston jamming away at this one. Royston kicks it forward, taken away right wing side by Fibiger. Back it'll go, bottom of the left circle. Porter Martone able to take this one, force it out of the zone. Trying to get an odd man rush going. It's a 3-on-1 developing it. Stopping, Martone trying a backhand. Oh, and running out of real estate as the Otters defense is just able to come in. Martone was looking to go SC top 10. Back it'll go, moving its way down. Rakoff, one hand on the stick, and like a poker, or like a pool stick, that one sent out of the zone.
Great opportunity for the Steelheads. Martone so patient in front, and to go back, Dylan Edwards, I believe, points in 5 straight, goals in 4 of 5 for Dylan Edwards. He's been just terrific.
Moving its way back below the goal line. Erie starting to take a little bit more of the drive in the offensive end. Still opportunities presenting themselves for the Steelheads, but Erie Playing with a little bit of a chip now as this one finds its way to the net front. Shot in, loose of the blue paint, and back to the blue line it'll go. Femus through traffic, throws it on net. Alfano battling in front, our player to watch for tonight's game. And the Otters get an offensive zone draw. Now we are seeing a tonal shift in how this game is going, and it's leaning in the white jersey direction.
And the shots on goal total is telling that story as well. Erie up 10-4 in shots right now. So they are sending plenty of the pucks to the net and giving some good opportunities for their guys in front and just putting that pressure on in the forward check, and something we talked a lot about earlier on in the show tonight. Well, they are really living up to it.
Face off in the left circle. Erie in their offensive end. One of the best face-off men in the OHL, statistically speaking, and by the eye test, Pano Femus, as this one finds its way below the goal line. Right wing side, just over 2,500 in attendance on a Wednesday night here in downtown Erie, and it doesn't take a big crowd to be a loud crowd here when it comes to being in downtown Erie, PA. Outside of the left circle, it'll find its way back below the goal line. Here's Alfano with it. Alfano inside of the near corner. Alfano moving it up near wall, and this one will find its way out of the zone. Watch out, Jared Harding trying to get loose. Harding driving to the net front, runs out of room as Sam Alfano bodies him up. Erie, top of the left circle, it'll find its way back. Moved here by Zhidlicki. Zhidlicki, as Henry's man falls down onto the ice, Henry immediately puts his arms up like I didn't do anything, and play will continue on. Alfano out left wing side. 7.5 remaining here in period number 1. Ivan Kovic sets the table back inside of the defensive end for Harding and co. Forward it'll go from the right wing side. Erie looking forward to the neutral zone. Sauter, that's a great read, and it turns into an offensive opportunity. Hammond up the near wall, back below the goal line. Messier looking after this one. Messier down for Frasca. Frasca works it outside of the left circle. Frasca, one hand on the stick, tried to backhand it, lost it to the blue line, nobody's there, and back out to neutral ice it'll go as Erie slaps away at it. Hurl it in below the goal line. Holomego steps up after it. 6:50 left to go in the first period. Now along the near wall, back below the goal line. Here's Noah Erliden with it. Davio moved up and taken here by Alex Messier. Rocking a little bit of a Movember beard as this month goes on. Up into the air, this flapjack puck will go up and out of play. And with 6:31 to go, we are going to get our first penalty of the evening for a delay of game.
Yeah, puck out of play and delay game, and the Otters will go right on to the power play. So here you go, you're up 1-0, and a really good opportunity to try and double the advantage here in this first period. Big chance for Erie.
Big opportunity to say the least in the Otter power play. They've been up and down this season, but they are more on the up right now. They are scoring on 25.6%, 1 for 4 statistically this entire season. Those are not rookie numbers.
That's good numbers for the Otters power play, and there's been some shakeups. Now you got your power play guru back as well.
Moving this one in front, Alfano, they score! Sam Alfano falling down and gives the Otters a 2-0 lead. Sam Alfano, our player to watch in tonight's game, comes away with yet another goal, his 11th of the year. And boy, I'm running out of words to say for this big-bodied player. He just knows how to drive the net front.
What an impressive play, because as he's falling down, he's able to spin it to the front of the net. I want to see if it was him who was able to force it over the line. Dylan Edwards was standing right there, and he took a whack at it. So I thought at first that it was Rennie Eddy who was going to get credit for the goal, but how about another power play goal for the Otters as well? They're 1 for 1, and they're up 2-0.
They stay at their exact same statistic if they go over on their next 3. That is how good, and we get another look here in arena on our replay opportunity. No, we'll come back to that in just a little bit. As this one finds its way back inside of the defensive end. Below the goal line it'll go. Erie looking back for it below the goal line. Moved up near wall. Jakob Fibiger moving this one back in. Out it'll go from the left wing side. Erie up against the near wall inside of the defensive end. Kieran Witkowski sends it back behind. Ty Henry giving the charge after it. 5:42 left to go here in period number 1, and the Otters are up 2-0 on home ice. Moved in, top of the left circle, back below the goal line it'll go. Erie playing a great brand of hockey in this one so far, up in shots 11-4, and in the most important statistic, they lead 2-0. Moving its way in, Erliden, as that one was a fancy little shot from Finn Harding, moving its way up against the near wall. To the other Harding, Jared Harding, up against the left wing side. It'll go for Mason Zabeski. Back in, right wing side, they score! 5:07 left to go in period number 1. And the Brampton Steelheads cut into that Erie Otters lead and allow the first goal allowed by Noah Erliden here on home ice in 3 games.
Excellent forecheck from the Steelheads, and Mason Zabeski is going to lead the line, and he'll take the credit for it. He finished it off. That's a really good job, though. Good block shot from Halamago getting into the defensive end, but then the Otters just unable to clear, and the Steelheads just keep the pressure on. Good pass. It was Van Volsen who found Zabeski hanging out right in the slot, and he's able to snap it past Erliden and have the deficit. Really good response after going down 2 as well.
Yeah, and it's early on in the game, and it's only a 2-goal lead, but boy, these things mount really quickly. So that was a big goal in multiple facets, and with how much the Brampton Steelheads outside or before that first goal from the Erie Otters were starting to drive, it's good to see that they were able to find the back of the net because they were coming so close, and now they're finally able to deliver. 4 minutes and 57 seconds left to go here in period number 1. Good hockey game so far. Very entertaining. Just one mistake made by either side. That, of course, coming from the Brampton Steelhead side on the puck out of play delay of game. But really, this has been a pretty evenly matched game with Erie, just showing that they have that extra step.
It has been, and I thought earlier on, before that goal goes in, I was going to remark that this is not the same Steelheads team that we saw on opening night, and I still do believe that, but it's in there. There's still some very talented guys on this team. It's just a matter of the depth, and I think that's something that you're going to see tested throughout this tough period. But again, they're going to be getting some guys back and starting to get back toward the form that they were in earlier on in the season, or at least that would be the plan for James Richmond and co. But good hockey game, like you mentioned. Kind of started off with a bit of a feeling out process, but now that both teams seem to have their legs under them, it's been a pretty entertaining watch throughout these first 15 minutes or so.
Next goal is going to be a big goal. We say it all the time, but especially now, is it Erie continuing their momentum, or is it Brampton riding off of what they just got? And hey, before we get back to play, let's go back to our trivia question. Trivia question, of course, was, for the OHL, how many players does it produce? I said low 40s. You said low mid 30s. Our answer, of course, over 20%. Okay, so CHL-wide, I was thinking a little bit more, but when you factor in the WHL and the QMJHL, over 20%, 1 out of 5 NHL players played in this league.
And college as well,
yes.
Right? So especially, before the merger.
So that is our Otter trivia, and once again, Trevor and I, we've got work to do, partner.
That was a hockey question.
I know. I'm very good at trivia in different settings, but when it comes to being on the broadcast, I think it's too much pressure.
I was going to say all the pressure in the world because we're on air talking to all our fantastic viewers out there, and as opposed to just being in a setting with a handful of people sitting around a fire just shooting questions around.
Well, now I know it's the armchair trivia experts are saying, how do they not know it's 20%? They work in the OHL. Well, we're not perfect.
That's true, right? And, that's a stat, though. I've definitely seen it on the internet somewhere before. That's why I went with the 30%, because I did think it was around there. But it's been a little while, I guess, since I've seen that one.
Boy, it's impressive. It's really impressive to see that many come through this league. Just makes you remember, the players of today are the stars of tomorrow. Femus moving in, shot in front, and that one just missing. Out of the zone, it'll go from the right wing side. Zhidelicki brings it in. And battling after this one is Ty Henry. Out it'll go from the right wing side. This one moved in through neutral ice. Forward from Femus, back in from Spence. Moving it back down for Femus. Femus inside of the corner, centering it for Spence. Over left wing side, shot! That one might have been robbed either by the stick or by the post. Either way, stays out of the net. Out along the wide wall. Below the goal line it'll go. Alfano looking after this one. Erie retains it inside of the offensive end. 3:40 remaining in the first period. Here's Pano Femus trying to create separation. Wants to feed it back. Not able to find his man, and Malcolm Spence there. Out it'll go through neutral ice. Worked back for Davio. Davio working in right wing side. Davio top of the right circle. Down in front, Hammond lost his footing and nearly had it go in off of him. Moved up to the blue line. Holomega with a shot, and that one missing wide. Davio all the way back to the neutral zone. It'll go. Worked in Witkowski, trying to make a move, and runs over his own feet. Out of the zone it'll go. Erie looking for it. Here's Alex Messier driving forward. Messier in, top of the left circle. Puck up in the air, battled after. Witkowski as this one finds its way up and out. Back below the goal line it'll go. Players collide as Wesley Royston sent down on the ice. Under 3 minutes left to go here in period number 1. And we get a stoppage in play with 2:47 remaining, giving us an opportunity to look ahead at what's next during our intermission. And we have got a full one for you. First things first, we talk about the World U17 Challenge in their own words. Hear from Lucas Ambrosio, Tyler Challenger, and head coach Stan Butler. We look ahead to Children's Grief Awareness Day tomorrow and our Children's Grief Awareness Night on Saturday. And of course, we have our highlights through 20 minutes. As we've got a fun intermission report, a whole lot of content, and a whole lot of great people that we'll be hearing from.
Yeah, a lot going on, too, on the ice as well. Plenty of highlights here in this first period. So really entertaining watching the Erie Otters. How about you got 2 goals, you got 13 shots up on the board, you've only allowed 5. I think that's a really positive thing that you can take from this first period as well, and hopefully keep it that low number under 10 heading into the break.
Brampton taking advantage of the low number of shots that they have had. 1 goal on 5 shots. That's a 20%er right there as this one finds its way in. 2:38 left to go. Another shot for the Erie Otters. And boy, you know, they had a little streak here at home where they just were not able to find shots. You go back to that game against Barrie and way back against North Bay. Well, Erie seems to be, when they play at home, they're averaging almost 15 shots per period. I think the last 2 home games, they've had 41 shots.
It's impressive, in the Otters, and that's correlating with the record on home ice. They had that slow start on home ice. They beat Windsor. That was one of the first 3, and then they beat Kingston, and then they've started to really pick things up here in front of the home crowd when they've been here, which has been a rarity so far in the early part of the season, but that's going to change.
Yeah, rarity no more. 5 straight home games due up. That closes the month of November, and some big opponents coming to town. Bottom of the left circle, Dylan Edwards fighting like a junkyard dog back below the goal line. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left to go here in period number 1. A 2-1 game in favor of the hometown team. Back this one will move its way out from the left wing side. Grabbed out of the air by Dylan Edwards. And back below the goal line it'll go. Erie looking for the puck inside of the offensive end. Harding leaves this one back as it's moved up by the captain, Porter Martone, part of an excellent draft class that we'll talk more about later on. Misa working it back for Finn Harding. Down it'll go below the goal line. Spence will have it inside of the defensive zone. Spence pocket picked. Moving its way toward the net front. Misa in front and just missing as this one goes up and out of play. 1:36 left to go. Boy, that was some hungry offense, and that's the Brampton offense that we came into this season expecting.
Great opportunity for the Steelheads. They forced a turnover, and Luke Misa with a great chance in front of the net, but unable to get that one to go. And boy, he is just a terrific talent right there. And Luke Misa, of course, his brother, is impressive as it gets. A guy who might go first overall, but Luke has carved out a really nice OHL career for himself here in Brampton.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like you mentioned, his career does get a little bit, subsided because his brother is obviously a pretty generational talent, to say the least. But boy, he has been a really solid Ontario Hockey League player, and pro hockey, I think, is in his future.
I would agree, and he's a guy who the Erie Otters certainly don't like playing because he always seems to come up big when these two teams meet.
And you know what? There's nobody with hard feelings in the Misa family because they know between Luke and Michael, they have a pretty special hockey bloodline developing. Top of the right circle, left wing side it'll go. Fibiger trying to thread the needle, not able to do so. Back it'll go near wall. Moving down below the goal line. Final minute of play here in period number 1 as this one finds its way back below the goal line. A good period of hockey so far, and the Erie Otters looking to keep good things going out of this frame. Moved in through neutral ice. And it'll come from the left wing side. Back up. High slot area. Frasca trying to move it over right wing side. A battle in front of the net, and that was Gabriel Sherrod. Out it'll go right wing side. Erie clearing it out of the zone. Brett Hammond moving forward with it. Back below the goal line, it'll go up against the near wall. Frasca taken off of his feet. Back below the goal line, finding its way. It's Brett Hammond. Hammond, 19 seconds left to go here in period number 1. Below the goal line. Moved around back here slowly. Sherratt moved it over, left wing side. Harding, final seconds of the frame. And that's where we'll send this period into the intermission. The Erie Otters with a 2-1 lead, a 14-7 shot advantage. And all things considered, a pretty dang good period of hockey right there. Either side can't be too upset. From the Erie Otters side, you know you have a 1-goal advantage going into the period break. For the Brampton Steelheads, you know you have the most recent goal in this game. And for the fans, you've already seen 3 goals and 21 shots in the contest. So it's been an entertaining one so far. And I think really at this point you could say that it's certainly Erie momentum. They're doubling up shots. They're doubling up the score. But I wouldn't put this one away just yet. I think Brampton's one good shot away from this one being a very, very good contest.
Yeah, they are, and I think they ended the period pretty well. They were putting on a little bit of pressure there toward the end of the frame, and were able to try to capitalize on it. Unfortunately, from their perspective, unable to get one past Noah Erliden. But I think there's a little bit something there for the Steelheads. The Otters came out on fire after that period again early on in the game, where neither team was really doing much offensively. But then they were able to start to create some offensive opportunities, get it going a little bit. They score 2 and have to be feeling pretty good about themselves after one period of play. Still 40 minutes to go, though. But again, you got an off day tomorrow and a chance to kind of build for that 2-game weekend. It's a lot better than playing a 3-3 and a chance to kind of empty the tank out here tonight trying to get this one.
Certainly do. And you never know what to expect when it comes to midweek games. You throw a player out of their routine. Obviously, if you're Brampton, you're really thrown out of your routine because you're on the road on a Wednesday night. Erie Otters had to do it the same thing last week in Sioux, but right now, 2 teams that appear to be rested. They appear to be hungry. And so far, a really entertaining game of hockey here tonight.
And that is, again, it's played to the quality of the product on the ice. It's been an entertaining game, and I think this Erie team matches up a little bit better with this version of the Steelheads in terms of, I think Erie right now, they look like the better team. And, that was certainly something when we walked out of the rink here on September 28th, certainly was not what was being uttered out of our mouths with how good Brampton looked on that night. But, they're banged up, and Erie trying to kind of take advantage of that here tonight.
Erie Otters up 2-1, leading in shots 14-7, and leading in the special teams department. 1 for 1 on the power play, nothing on the penalty kill for the Erie Otters so far. Got to be happy about where you're at, but still a lot of game to go, and still at this point, anybody's game. When we come back, we've got a whole lot to talk about on the intermission report. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be a good one.
Born and raised in Erie, tried college first semester, wasn't a fan, so ended up just working in the field, welding. Found out about EC3's welding program and decided to go there. The community college just gives a smaller, more family-like atmosphere. You get to know everybody, and it was awesome. Feels really good to look back on what all I've done there and the accomplishments that I've achieved from there.
Live here, learn here. Apply today at ec3pa.org.
Take control with the all-new CHL app, the home of every team, every fan, and every moment. And now, the CHL app features thousands of live games. Simply find your game of choice, log in with your existing CHL TV account, and stream any game, anytime, anyplace, live or on demand. The all-new CHL app, now with CHL TV. Find us on the Apple Store or Google Play Store and supercharge your experience today.
Trevor, did you play a lot of musical chairs growing up? Because I feel like as much as it's talked about, I just was not as impacted by it in my childhood.
No, we did it in school a couple times, like in music class, I remember, back when I was in elementary school. But other than that, it certainly wasn't the game of choice when I was hanging out with my buddies.
Well, I was always more of a – we had a castle at the local playground. We'd play freeze tag. We'd call it castle freeze tag. I've not experienced many things quite as exciting as castle freeze tag. So, but I will tell you, this has been a pretty exciting game so far here tonight, to say the least.
Great segue, partner.
Yeah, I'd say.
Good segue, right? But no, it has been a good hockey game. You've got, an Erie team that looks much more like what we would expect from them here tonight after, again, kind of a flat game on Saturday in Flint. They really weren't themselves. You could tell it was the end of a grueling road trip. But now, again, you've had a couple of days. You have that off day Sunday, which is massive after a trip like that. One of those days where you do not want to do anything, right? You just want to not think about hockey after that type of trip you get in. We got in around 3:30 in the morning or so from Flint. So, again, you unplug, you sleep in, you enjoy your Sunday, but then you're right back to the rink, and you've got only 2 days to prepare. But I think it's good in a sense to get right back into it because of, how things went on Saturday. Again, just try and wash that one from the memory. And, it wasn't their worst defensive game. They were great defensively, and Charlie Burns, like we talked about, was good. But, to come back here tonight and put together that type of first period, I think that's a really good sign of what this Erie team is and what we know they can be.
And with all due respect to opposing team goaltenders, most of them are not Jack Ivankovic. 20 minutes in the books, the Erie Otters offense has already produced more goals tonight than they did in Flint on Saturday night. So, again, I think that's part of the inspiring part of what you saw. And I think even defensively, you give up the goal, 7 shots, 1 goal. It's not a great number overall, but 7 shots is all you allowed in that period. And it was a good shot that got its way through. So I think for the Erie Otters, overall, you have to be really happy about how it went. 1 goal, hard effort opportunity comes from that team, but you kept them out of the danger zone of your defensive end for most of that period, and you controlled a lot of the game flow. I mean, shots show that, score shows it, and special teams shows that.
Again, I would agree with you. I think you got to be pretty happy about the way that this period went for the Erie Otters. And again, really good in the defensive zone. 7 shots in a period is not easy to do, especially when you look at the top line. Again, it's not the full-strength Steelheads roster, right? But there's Porter Martone's still out there. Carson Rakoff's still out there. There's some very, very talented guys on the ice for this team. And, I think where the injuries have really impacted, other than Carmeris, he's a big miss on the forward group, but the blue line, Leskovar and Sova, like those 2 guys especially not being in the lineup. I mean, those are 2 pretty big misses, and Von Richter another one. So, those are probably your 3 top guys, maybe other than a Finn Harding, that you're missing on the blue line. So to hold what is a relatively intact offensive core to only 7 shots, I think that it's a testament to how good Erie was blocking shots. Halamego is a guy who stood out with how he was able to get in some lanes, and Erie doing a nice job when it comes to clogging the lanes defensively.
Boy, it is an absolute shame. This would have been Spencer Sova's final game here at the Erie Insurance Arena, barring meeting in the finals between these 2 organizations. Obviously, we can't regale with the tales that we would have, but Spencer Sova certainly missed by the Brampton Steelheads. And from the Erie faithful, we had a season ticket member meet and greet earlier this week at 5 Iron Golf. Again, big thank you to them, by the way, but a lot of the people said, an event like this is just missing that one piece, and Sova's that piece. And I know he's been a big part of that, both as an alternate captain on the ice and in the community for the Brampton Steelheads.
You can't say enough good things about Spencer Sova. He's a guy that I got to know pretty well over his time here in Erie. Plenty of interviews talking to Spencer Sova. Just an A-plus human being, and just miss seeing him here at the rink. And, but he's fitting well, right? He's the piece, I think, that this team in Brampton really needed because of what he can contribute in both the defensive zone, the offensive zone, but what he is as a leader. He was a great captain when he was here, and I think Kerry Terrance and his leadership style and what he's been able to do, he has been just nothing but an unbelievable captain for the Erie Otters, and I think he really learned a lot from what Spencer Sova brought to the team. And, you look at some of the guys up and down the roster. I think Matthew Schaefer is the one that really comes to mind when you think of future captains. He's a guy who I could see as a future captain, not only in the Ontario Hockey League, but probably even the National Hockey League. He's one of those guys that everybody gravitates to. I think Spencer Sova just had that type of impact on everybody.
I would agree with that, and I think when you think about it's a numbers game, right? You don't want to move on from great people, great players, but when you're looking at overagers, you have such a small amount, and you have to make a move. But I think Erie's really been able to fill the defensive hole nicely. Matthew Schaefer, you mentioned, learned a lot from Spencer Sova. But one piece that we got back after so much time away, Lucas Ambrosio, I think he's been a really good defensive piece, especially for how young he is. Not just young in age, but young in his Ontario Hockey League career. He just got the opportunity to go to the World U17 Challenge alongside Tyler Challenger. And they talked about what that experience, not just the experience of going, but the experience of playing alongside great players meant for them.
I got to play with some pretty cool players all around Canada, so I think that was pretty cool. And yeah, that helped my confidence a lot. I feel a lot better coming back from that. Playing with those players, those are some pretty good players, and yeah, I was very happy about with that shift.
Yeah, it was fun. Gives me a lot of confidence. Obviously, getting a silver medal there, it was good. It was nothing but joy, good experience. The guys there too. It was just overall good.
How good was it to have Wes on your bench as well?
Yeah, that was fun. It was funny. A couple jokes, bringing some stuff along from Erie, the attitude, just having some good stuff. It was fun.
You've got to be patient with your guys and bring them along. And I think, like sometimes when you give too much to young guys when they're too soon, you put them in situations that they're not ready for and they can't have success. Sometimes it long-term, it affects their confidence. So I think in our situation, Ty Challenger went to the World Challenge U17, won a gold medal, finished off on their first line. So that told me, from his perspective, his development's pretty well. And unfortunately, in Lucas's case, he had an injury, but, both our first two picks made the team, and there's a lot of teams that didn't have anybody make it. So I think from that perspective, it's a positive thing. And I think when young guys can just play and relax their first year and not feel that everything's on their shoulders, I think from a long-term development point, it really, really is beneficial.
What we talked about for the Erie Otters, young players, give them time. 2-1, by the way, here back in Erie, Pennsylvania. But we talk about players, Lucas Ambrosio, Tyler Challenger. They're the ones that we're talking about. They're the topic du jour, if you will, right now. But there's so many great pieces. Wesley Royston is really what I want to talk about. Last year, offensive numbers, they weren't stellar by any means, but you could see the pieces of, okay, this is what kind of player he's going to be. He's got a little Sam Alfano in him. He's got a little bit of that anger in him. He's got a little bit of that passion in him where, hey, you don't want to get in a tight corner against this guy because he's going to beat you out of that corner. And now you're seeing it. Goals are coming. He's playing up lines. And he's developing into that player that, hey, there's a reason they took him second round from the York Simcoe Express. That is a organization that churns out OHLers, and Wesley Royston is right in line to be the next great alumni from that organization and moving in a great direction to be the next great one from this one.
It really is. And, Royston's a guy. I think Brett Hammond has also stepped up with some big goals this year. That jump from your 16-year-old season to your 17-year-old season, you often see it, right? You see rookies start to struggle a little bit. And I think Stan makes a good point that maybe the numbers aren't there, but I think you look at a lot of the underlying things. And, Ambrosio has been just exceptional in the OHL. For a 16-year-old defenseman, that's the position where you need the most coaching and the most time to develop. Usually you don't just jump right in and just fit in like a glove. And well, Ambrosio has pretty much done that. He's been very strong in the defensive zone really since the word go. And to make the team as a defenseman as a 16-year-old as well, again, just making the team, that's not easy to do. And Ambrosio was able to do that, and he has really developed very, very nicely here at the OHL level. And it's so good to have him back in the lineup here tonight.
Certainly is. Certainly good to have Wes Wolf behind the bench as well. We've talked about the players, but the impact of an offensive coach and a power play specialist cannot be understated enough. When we come back here on the Otters Broadcast Network, we're going to talk about another big defenseman, more of his off-the-ice reason. More on that coming back.
Most people don't recognize me when I'm not in uniform, but when I carry my Erie Bank card, I get treated like gold.
Experience better banking with Erie Bank.
Matthew Schaefer here, defenseman for Erie Otters.
Matthew Schaefer going to turn on the jets of his own down the left side. Here's the rookie. Schaefer shoots and scores. How's that for a laser beam?
I know what it's like to lose people who are special to me. That's why I'm honored to be a Children's Grief Awareness Day champion. This Saturday night, I'll be supporting children who are grieving when we take on the Kitchener Rangers at 7 p.m. for Children's Grief Awareness Night, sponsored by the Highmark Caring Place. Watch as my teammates and I will be wearing custom blue jerseys during the whole game in honor of grieving kids everywhere. If you lost someone special, I'm right there with you. We're all in this together. We're not alone. You and I, we're here for each other. Hear more of my story on Highmark Caring Place's YouTube channel. Help me support children who are grieving. Learn more at childgriefday.com.
A dynamic player on the ice, but boy, one of the toughest people I've met in this lifetime off the ice. And that's the reason that I'm wearing the pin here tonight. Children's Grief Awareness Day is tomorrow. Our third annual Children's Grief Awareness Night is coming up on Saturday night. You'll hear more about Matthew Schaefer's story off the ice, of the things that he dealt with in his rookie season. Just horrible stuff that you do not want anyone to go through, let alone a player with so much on his back like Matthew Schaefer. But boy, when he gets the opportunity to talk about what he's went through and knowing who it's going to impact and knowing who it's going to affect, it gives you chills in realizing that if anyone had to go through this, they chose someone who wanted to be such an ambassador for knowing that it's okay to not be okay. You can do tough things. You can get through tough things. And this week is so special. There's so much work that goes into it alongside Highmark Carrying Place. And there's so much emotional capacity that you have to drain to be able to go through a night like this. But Saturday night, it's always one that I look forward to, not because it's the most fun, the most exciting, but it's knowing that it means something. And when we take the ice and the baby blues, knowing that all the families who are grieving a loss, that they know that they're not alone. It's special.
It really is. And, it's one that I think was an unbelievable idea when it was brought here over the last couple years. And I love how this season the jerseys are going to be worn on the ice, right? Because then it's almost a billboard for, how special this is, and an opportunity for, that Highmark Carrying Place logo to be out there all night long, and to be able to show that, there are resources out there. And the Highmark Carrying Place, and we're going to talk about this a lot, but they are just an unbelievable organization, an organization that impacted me when I was about 5 years old. So, I know firsthand how amazing they are. And, Matthew Schaefer, again, for what he has had to go through as a 16-year-old when all of this, went down for him, just unbelievable. And to, kind of take it with him and to just still be as amazing as he is on the ice, just dazzling to watch on the ice, and to know that he's going to go to the National Hockey League and bring his skills there. It just it's unbelievable. And over the summer, the Toronto Star, that article they did on him is it's a chilling read if you ever have a chance to take a look at it.
Please make sure to tune in to the Children's Grief Awareness Day virtual recognition day. Matthew's story will be told in its full capacity. I know that his family is really excited for his story to be able to be told at a level that will impact so many people. And of course, make sure you join us on Saturday night for our Children's Grief Awareness Night. And I do want to give another shout out. I know we're going to talk about this a lot on Saturday. The Windsor Spitfires, our first season, they were the ones that really helped lay the groundwork and wearing the pins and being part of the night. Second year, Saginaw Spirit, they got involved even more. The Kitchener Rangers have been unbelievable in helping us to promote this game. We'll talk a whole lot more about that when we come back. And when we come back, it'll be time for hockey action here for the second period. Femus throws one on net, trying to jam away at it. And this one will be taken away as it's moved up and away by Owen Cartwright. Back in, bottom of the left circle, moving down and in. They score! 10:45 to go in period number one, and the Erie Otters strike first blood on home ice. They've been up and down this season, but they are more on the up right now. They are scoring on 25.6%, 1 for 4 statistically this entire season. Those are not rookie numbers.
That's good numbers for the Otters power play, and there's been some shakeups. Now you got your power play guru back as well.
Moving this one in front, Alfano, they score! Sam Alfano falling down and gives the Otters a 2-0 lead. Moving its way up against the near wall. To the other Harding, Jared Harding up against the left wing side. It'll go for Mason Zabeski. Back in, right wing side, they score! 5:07 left to go in period number one. And the Brampton Steelheads cut into that Erie Otters lead and allow the first goal allowed by Noah Erliden here on home ice in 3 games. Themis inside of the corner, centering it for Spence, over left wing side, shot! That one might have been robbed either by the stick or by the post. Either way, stays out of the net. We are taking a look at some of the bigger plays in period number one. And once again, we welcome you back into the Otters Broadcast Network. Pleasure to be alongside you on a Wednesday night. Only game in town in the Ontario Hockey League here tonight. Really entertaining first period.
Has been a really entertaining first period between two pretty good teams. And, they flex their muscles a little bit on us here in this first period, and hoping for more of the same in the second. Erie hoping to stay as strong in the defensive zone as they've been here tonight, with only the 7 shots allowed, and continuing to create opportunities for Brampton. Got to get that next one. You don't want to go back down by 2, although they can certainly score at will at times here.
2 teams line up at center ice, and second period action is ready to get underway. We have got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot to look forward to. But first things first, puck drop in the middle frame of a Wednesday night game in downtown Erie. We are underway. Themis battled for this one, but Miso was the winner of this one, back inside of the defensive end. Next goal is going to be a big one. The previous goal belonged to the Brampton Steelheads to get it into a one-goal game. Erie a chance to retake momentum. Brampton a chance to get this one tied up. Worked in top of the left circle, shot in. That one just saved by the very tippy toes by Jack Ivankovic. Back to the blue line, it'll go. Schaefer with a rip. That one ripping back behind. Back it'll go, out of the blue line and out of the zone. Erie looking forward, Themis back in through neutral ice. Spence had it and lost it. Moved in top of the right circle, Martone loose in front of the net and finding its way back into the near corner. To the blue line it'll go. Finn Harding throws it on. Back below the goal line it'll go for Misa. Looking back after it goes Spence. Erie takes it out of the zone. Themis wills this one back behind for Wesley Royston to go after. Shots are 15-8 in this contest, and the Erie Otters holding that shot advantage and the goal advantage. Below the goal line it'll go. Ty Henry takes this one. First minute of period number 2 is gone by as this puck finds its way back out to the neutral zone into the offensive end. Over right wing side, and just getting a piece of it was Jakob Fibiger. Jidelicki, top of the right circle. And out of the zone it'll come for the Steelheads. Below the goal line, Henry lost it back, taken away, left wing side, Jack Van Volsen. To the blue line it'll go, shot in, deflected away. Ambrosio gets the edge on it, sends it out of the zone. Carey Terrance tried to go off to the races, but ran out of steam. Entering in will be Ty Henry, over for Dylan Edwards. Edwards, top of the left circle, move down for Henry. Henry, near corner, back up it'll go. Davio through traffic right in front, and Frasca tried an angle game. Outside of the left circle, Henry wanted to split the gap, wasn't able to do so. Davio, outside of the right circle, moved up right wing side. Good movement here by the Otters, back below the goal line it'll go. To the blue line, Hammond after this one. Frasca driving it down. 17:38 left to go in the second period. Frasca up against the near wall. Moving up and out. And the Steelheads will send this one into the offensive end as it's taken away by Jidelicki. Holomego out of the zone. Messier, lone man in, trying to get around his man and keep it going. Does get around Jared Harding. And battling it back inside of the near corner. Up along the near wall, out of the zone it'll go. Nearly 3 minutes gone by. It's been end-to-end action here to open the second period. Right in front of the net. Erlinen looking for a turn and fire. That one finding its way back behind. Battled for below the circles. To the blue line it'll go. DDD passing for Finn Harding. Harding outside of the right circle. Brampton threatening. Out it'll go right wing side. Clark getting a piece of it with the stick, and it's just enough to get it out of the zone. Shots in this period are belonging to the Brampton Steelheads. They have got a 3-1 shot advantage so far in the early stages. Back below the goal line, this one will go. Erie looking back forward along the near wall. Tyler Challenger coming out to meet it. Davio gets a piece of it. Brampton with a misstep on that pass. Out of the zone it'll go. Brought in left wing side by Oliver Phillips. They'll say onside. Phillips moving it around the right wing side. Back below the goal line it'll go. It's Tyler Challenger looking for it. Challenger near wall, he's got it. Nearly lost it against the official skate. Challenger, bottom of the right circle, firing. And Ivankovic with the save. 16:05 to go in the second. Erie with the last rush. But what a start in this period for Brampton.
Yeah, the Steelheads putting on some pressure early on, already 3 shots to their name, but I want to go back to that last forecheck for the Otters. Tyler Challenger, I think we're really starting to see the strength that this young man possesses here. That was a really impressive shift from him, kind of just fending off defenders and able to create. So really, really good stuff from Challenger. Hopefully he can kind of bottle that up, and maybe it'll lead to that first goal for him.
Well, it always seems to be, as this one's held onto by Ivankovic, it always seems to be that when young players come back from World U17s, again, we saw with Schaefer, we saw with Royston last season, this is the tournament that builds their confidence up because it's that first opportunity where you're wearing your draft club's colors and saying, hey, I'm selected as one of the best in my age group, as that one's held on to again by Ivankovic.
And again, getting to play with the best of the best. And for Challenger, finishing on the top line with Team Canada White, winning a gold medal. I mean, if there's anything to boost confidence, that is exactly it. So Challenger's coming back here flying high. He played really, really well on Friday in Saginaw, and he's been pretty noticeable here in this one tonight.
Ambrosio got to play in that silver medal game as well and got to build up his confidence. But again, we talked about it. He was a player who was really impressing for a young defenseman. And these two guys starting to really bloom into their own. Famous opportunity. Oh, Ivan Kovic with the 5-hole shuts the door. How do you get that one to not go through?
Femus placed the shot perfectly. Ivan Kovic just able to somehow hang on for a faceoff. That's a pretty impressive save from the Brampton netminder, Ivan Kovic. He is one of the better netminders in our league and doing it as a very young goaltender as well. I believe a 17-year-old for Ivan Kovic. He's just been really, really strong. Big stop there.
And he was another one who played in the World U17s last year, part of that gold medal effort. So confidence built up as Edwards gets robbed in front. Ivan Kovic, oh, what a save. Arm goes up from the official immediately as Erie records its 20th shot. And we'll be curious to see if they're going to charge Dylan Edwards with goaltender interference.
That's what I was thinking, because he did make the path, and it looks like, yeah, it's going to be Dylan Edwards going to the box here, so they'll get a goalie interference call. That is just a majestic save from Jack Ivan Kovic, shutting the door on Dylan Edwards in front, and both arms went up from the officials. Both guys called it, so he did go in quite hard, and he doesn't seem too pleased with the call.
It's a tough one to make because you drive the puck and the goaltender is out of the net, but you have to defend the goaltender in this game. That's the name of the game, and I think it's the right call. It's not the call you expect to see on an offensive rush like that, but regardless.
You don't see it often.
No, that's certainly correct. And I think we're going to get a hand pass here that'll blow it dead, 15:25 to go. Well, we talked about Erie's power play being really good. Their penalty kill, again, a bit of an up and down, but 80.3%. They've had moments where you see the excellence, though.
Yeah, they've been about average so far, especially, overall numbers, but there's been stretches where the penalty kill has been just phenomenal.
Back below the goal line, first opportunity on the man advantage here for the Brampton Steelheads. Erie's got a penchant for shorthanded goals this season, though, as this one will find its way back inside of the defensive end. It is a logistics plus penalty kill on that note. Alfano, as this one finds its way in with speed from the left wing side. Look at this work down the net front as Martone battles for it back up to the blue line. Out it'll go from the left wing side below the goal line. Worked up, shot in. Oh, and that was blocked in front by Matthew Schaefer. He's shaken up, and a shot off the side of the foot of Noah Erliden gets set aside. Top of the right circle. Moved over, mid-slot opportunity, working down, right in front, stop opportunity, and they score. Misa, power play goal, and we are knotted up in a 2-2 game, 14:31 to go. What a tactical power play for the Steelheads.
Beautiful work on the power play, and there's Luke Misa, always seems to get a goal against the Erie Otters. He comes up with a big one right here, just a minute into the power play, and now Edwards will be even more frustrated. But that is just mesmerizing puck movement. All started with that blocked shot. Schaefer putting it on the line. That's a great block as you get a look at the replay, and Misa just gets the bounce in front. And the Steelheads already 5 shots in the period. We're not even 6 minutes in. So certainly what James Richmond must have said in the intermission has resonated with this Brampton team. And they've climbed back to a 2-2 scoreline.
Yeah, I would certainly say so. Head coach Richmond knew exactly what to say to get his troops motivated for a game like this, because it has been a tale of 2 periods so far. And this second period is all in control of Steelheads. And I would have said that before the goal. Back in through defensive ice for the Erie Otters. They'll move this one out of the zone, and Wesley Royston will look to get something started. So a 2-0 lead evaporates for the Otters as they look for it back inside of the neutral zone and defensive ice. Moved up, Edwards. Out of the zone, this one will go from the left wing side. Terrance, lead feed in for Edwards. Edwards shot, trying to make something happen. And that one held onto by Ivan Kovic. 22nd shot of the night for the Erie Otters as they'll get an offensive zone draw. So you get a perfect opportunity again. We talked about it very shortly on the other side of the face-off that was back in the Erie offensive end. But players who came back from World U17 in this game, Wesley Royston, Matthew Schaefer, and goaltender Jack Ivan Kovic from last year's. We'll get to see what the new crop does this year when we come back. alluded to it earlier. I want to talk about that draft class again that included Porter Martone. He was originally drafted by the Sarnia Sting 5th overall. How about the first 4 picks? Michael Misa, Malcolm Spence, Sam Dickinson for Niagara, Nathan Villeneuve for the Sudbury Wolves, Jack Van Volsen also, number 6 overall pick. So the number 5 and 6 pick for the Brampton Steelheads, as well as Michael Haig. I mean, there's so many members of this team that Brampton has that were top 10 picks in that 2022 draft.
Well, yeah, Beckett Seneca right there, the 3rd overall pick with the in the NHL this year. So you've got a really good top 10 in that draft. Jet Luchenko there at 12. He's another first-round pick, Philadelphia Flyers. Again, there's just so many really strong players. I think I saw Zane Parek's name a little bit further down that list as well, going 19th overall to Saginaw alongside Gabriel Frasca with Kingston. So that's a really impressive draft class, and that's a group that is really shaping what we're seeing with the league here today.
Anthony Cristoforo, Merrick Van Acker, Ethan Procession. I mean, this was a class of OHLers in the first and second rounds that they lived up to their draft stock, and that's to say the least. Moved over left wing side, shot in, they score! Brampton takes the lead. They have got a 3-2 lead, 3 unanswered goals. They throw it on net, and it finds its way in. Jakob Fibiger leading the line.
Oh, this is one Noah Erlenden's going to want back. He was in the right position, and it just somehow sneaks through him. This hurts. This one hurts. A good shot from the wide side, and Erlenden, again, he's in the right spot, and it just sneaks through. So the Steelheads rewarded for their pressure. They're up now. They've equaled their shot total from the first period. Now in the second, they're up to 14, and they've scored 2 goals on those 7 shots here. Really impressive stuff in the period, and Erie's got to try and find a way to get their wits back about them.
Yeah, I hate to hit the red panic button too early, but at what point do you start to think, okay, we got that timeout in our pocket. You had a 2-0 lead. You were dominating this game, and Richmond's troops have stormed back. Martone, top of the right circle, battled for along the near wall. Matthew Schaefer battling with this one as it'll find its way back inside of the near corner. 7 minutes gone by in the second period. It has been all Steelheads in period number 2. Back inside of the defensive end. Schaefer works it back as it'll be taken by Nathan Sauter. Out of the zone for Alfano. Femus drives it up the wall. This one moved in through neutral ice. Porter Martone brings it in. Martone worked over right wing side. G in. And that one held on to by Noah Erlenden. 12:32 left to go. Another shot for the Steelheads as they've got 15. They came into this period with 7. They are out shooting the Erie Otters by a handed mark in this period.
Well, when we talked to Carson Rakoff earlier on today, the big word he kept mentioning was resiliency. I think that's exactly what we've seen even just throughout the course of this game from this Steelheads team. Again, missing some big pieces and still digging deep and battling and finding opportunities, and now they find themselves in the lead. So give credit to James Richmond again for whatever he said. That must have went over very, very well in the Steelheads locker room because they've responded well.
Back below the goal line, this one will go. Erie moving it up and through the neutral zone.
20, Gabriel Sherratt, time of the goal, 6:42.
Goal announced in-house here as this one finds its way down below the goal line. Oliver Phillips with it. Who wants to be the player that'll be the Erie spark plug here as they've seen their 2-goal lead evaporate into a 1-goal deficit? Up against the near wall. Moving its way up against the wall out of the zone. Brought in from the right wing side. A little bit of an extra check thrown down there against Manuel Amano. Moved in, near corner. Jack Clark, they'll take a bang down there. Challenger, want to center that one back. Instead it goes to the blue line, out of the zone for Ambrosio. Move back inside of the defensive end. Erie looking for it, taken away by Wesley Royston. Royston up for Oliver Phillips. Down below the goal line it'll go. 11.5 remaining here in period number 2. Vakulik as it finds its way up against the wide wall. Alamago. Erie looking for it in through neutral ice and taken away by Finn Harding. Fans are trying to will the Erie Otters here. Terrance, he gets hit up high in the face, keeps on going as this one finds its way over to the wide wall. Moving back down, Erie as Davio will take this one. Davio worked up for Edwards. Edwards out of the zone. A rush in for Wesley Royston, tried to feed Terrance and immediately broken up by the Steelheads. Back of the blue line. Move down, top of the right circle to the bottom of the right side for Terrance. He's going full spin cycle. Back below it'll go. Edwards trying to get a full piece of this one. Zabeski, as there's nobody in the area for Zhidlicki to go up against. Zhidlicki doesn't have the room, tries his way back out, worked in mid-slot, still loose in the blue paint and sent away by the Erie defense. Below the goal line, it's Gabriel Frasca taking it. 10:20 left to go here in the second period. 16 shots for the Steelheads, turned over, Zhidlicki again, shot, opportunity, they score! Brampton, 4 unanswered goals. And they lead it 4-2 with 10-11 to go in the second period with a little extra after the goal goes in.
This is going to be Zabeski's second of the hockey game. Really great play from Zhidlicki as he drove in down the wall. We're going to get a couple of penalties. I'm surprised Davio's going as Zhidlicki knocked him down to the ice, but that low shot down to the ice, it created all kinds of havoc as it was Zabeski on the doorstep. He's rewarded with his second of the hockey game. Really good stuff as he goes tumbling into the net, and you get a look at him taking Davio down to the ice.
Well, you take a look at Zhidlicki in the box. We'll wait to see what the penalty markers are. If we'll go 4-on-4 or if there'll be any additional serves due up.
I think they might get Davio for an embellishment on that one.
22-17 shots in this game favoring the Otters. Ask once again, 4 unanswered goals, 3 in this period alone. When is it time to take the timeout?
Not a good period for the Erie Otters at all. I mean, this has just been completely different from what we saw in the first period. And again, give credit to the Steelheads because they played very, very well as the Otters penalty box door opens up here. Erie's only got, now they've got 4 on the ice. Probably going to go, well, Brampton's got 5 out there. We're going to go 5-on-4. Did Erie get an extra? That's a killer if they did.
Still nothing officially on the scoreboard just yet to show penalties. We do have 4 out on the ice for the Otters. Nothing up just yet. 4-2, it's a lead here in favor.
They get an initial maybe on like a slash or something on Zabeski.
Clark is going to head to the box as well. Excuse me, Gabriel Frasca. And we are going to see the Erie Otters find themselves on the penalty kill. Fans not happy here in Erie. Bad turns to worse. The Erie Otters go from a 4-2 deficit to a 4-2 deficit and on a penalty kill. Moving in, mid-slot shot. Martone was trying to make it 5 straight. Back at the blue line it'll go. Let's get an answer here.
2 minutes for roughing. Erie penalty to number 72, Alexi Davio. 2 minutes for roughing and 2 minutes for embellishment. Time of the penalties, 9:48. Zhidlicki 2 for roughing. Davio 2 for roughing, 2 for embellishment at 9:48. The Otters are on the...
Well, a good call right there from our team up here. Embellishment is the call against Alexi Davio, and the Erie Otters find themselves on a kill. Fibberger, top of the left circle. Schaefer looking forward, back inside of the near corner. Centered opportunity, and Sauter sends it down the length of the ice. So it'll find its way up and out of the zone. Martone in after it. Martone in with Van Volsen. Henry below the goal line. Well, we talked about how big that next goal would be if it would be the start of Brampton taking momentum. And they absolutely opened a can of momentum on this Otter team. Back it'll go for Fibberger. Fibberger, that one got slightly lifted in the air by Malcolm Spence. Erie trying to get something going here, shorthanded. It's Carey Terrance and Spence. Spence shot, they score! It's a shorty for Malcolm Spence. Otters cut the lead to 1 goal for the Steelheads.
Oh, how they needed that. Carey Terrance and Malcolm Spence, they are so impressive on a shorthanded opportunity. And for Malcolm, finding the back of the net, double digits for Malcolm Spence. His 10th of the season. Carey Terrance, great feed across. Really impressive stuff from the Otters shorthanded. And that is maybe the goal to try and flip the momentum back. I was going to say they need to kill the penalty off. Well, a little bit of a bonus as you get a goal back to your name. So really good job by the Otters. And those two have just been so dynamic, shorthanded all season long, and they come up big here.
If I'm not mistaken, that is the 8th career shorthanded goal for Malcolm Spence. Boy, he sure loves the shorties. And another one there, it's a huge one as we get an opportunity inside of the defensive end, and the fans are back into this one. Back of the blue line it'll go. Terrance and Spence just play off each other so well, and it's not a surprise to see those two hook up for another one, as this crowd is absolutely into it. More of the rough stuff back below the goal line. We'll see if Erie can take advantage of this momentum as we do find ourselves back to even strength. Gabriel Frasca joining the rush. Frasca out of the box, leading it up the ice. Frasca head down. Great defensive play by Finn Harding. 8 minutes left to go. Buckle up. The final 8 of this second period. We are in for a dandy. Below the goal line it'll go. Will that penalty kill goal, will that shorthanded goal be the linchpin that puts Erie back together in this game? Moving its way in, Schaefer down, Spence shot. Ivan Kovic follows it into the corner wall. Top of the right circle, Schaefer, blood in the water, smelling it, setting it back behind. Frasca looking for it. Frasca, bottom of the right circle, trying to feed Spence. He's got the hot stick. Moving its way in, up into the air, not out of play. Below the goal line, Sam Alfano, he's got one tonight. He sends his man down onto the ice. Erie hungry, back it'll go, Schaefer with it. Schaefer down, lost it back, and out of the zone it'll go for the Steelheads. Kicked away, back all the way down the ice. What a job done by Brampton there to clear the pressure. 7 minutes left to go in the second, 4-3. This has been one for the ages on a Wednesday night. Bottom of the left circle, right in front. Nobody there to put it away for that Sam Alfano pass. Back into defensive ice. Spence moves it forward. Panofemis leads it into the offensive end. There's a loose piece of lumber back below the goal line inside of the defensive end of the Brampton Steelheads. 25-18 shots in this game as it belongs to a lead of the Erie Otters. They'll add to it there with their 26. They are looking to get this one even back up. Bottom of the left circle, moved off the stick of Edwards, and below the goal line it'll go. Stepping up after it goes Henry. Henry outside the left wing side for Femis, right in front, set away. Ambrosio trying to center that one, not able to be put away. Femis below the goal line. Femis outside the left circle, switching positions and taking it at the blue line, shot in, back behind. Edwards, man on his back, keeping it going. Edwards, bottom of the right circle. Edwards still holding on to this one. Delayed penalty as Erie's going to go on the man advantage. Touched up, and the Otters get a power play after all the chaos.
Unbelievable job by Dylan Edwards, and the Otters doing a much better job putting pressure on, working it with a good forecheck and drawing a penalty. Dylan Edwards, man, he is just such a fun player to watch because he does all the little things right, and he's just so scrappy, right? He's just like, he's so tough to play against, and he's just again a fun player to watch. Draws a penalty here, and now Erie's starting to try and shift that momentum back the other way.
Boy, it was a pendulum swing. You thought, if you're looking at the score, the stat sheet, 4-2 game, 3 unanswered goals. You're going on the penalty kill. Goal here, the game's over. I mean, most likely at this point, 3-goal game, all the momentum's in one direction. Erie flipped it. And now it's Erie with all the momentum. Brampton doesn't have an answer for the Erie side, and now the Otters go on the man advantage.
Exactly. It's kind of the same thing, just going back the other way, right? You get a shorthanded goal, and that really changed everything. That was a must-have for the Otters at the moment where it occurred, and that ends up being the big change in the hockey game. So now for Erie, boy, you score right on this power play. You're at 4-4, and you know, we're talking an unbelievable one here tonight at 7 goals already and maybe an 8th here to come on this power play up to the Otters to make it count.
Troy Patton, the man who sits in the box.
Play. Brampton penalty to number 77, Troy Patton. 2 minutes for slashing.
Slashing is a call against Patton. And a huge opportunity here for an Erie team that's already riding the momentum meter. Back it'll go off the face-off win, jumping to the blue line. Back below the goal line, it'll go for Alfano. Inside of the corner, below the goal line of the trapezoid. Terrance. Just a whole lot of kicking the biscuit back below the goal line. Erie waiting to dig this one out. Masterclass down there by the Brampton Steelheads. Boy, that was well done penalty killing.
Excellent work from the Steelheads on the penalty kill again, able to take pucks away and get them away right away.
Schaefer dancing around Misa, sends it back behind as this one will work its way up for Themis. Themis over for Edwards. Edwards trying to find a seam. Edwards draws two men, works it down, and just a great time stick for Luke Misa. He's been everywhere here tonight. Top of the right circle, it'll go over for Edwards. Edwards, top of the left, Terrance, shot, score! Power play goal, and the Capitaine, we are tied!
A rocket from Carey Terrance. Excellent movement off the puck on the power play. When we get a look at this, you'll see him kind of go into the slot and then kind of just back off into the high slot. That allowed the open space for the pass to come, and Carey Terrance just leans into that one, and he goes up into the top corner with it to tie this game at 4. Otters are buzzing on the power play. Really impressive stuff for Carey, as he now is the team leader in goals with his 11th on the season.
And boy, he started really hot, and then he had a little bit of a dry spell. He has turned it on, and we get another look here at this Carey rocket. It's Edwards, of course, feeding it right into the mid slot, and the Otters are getting ready to draw once again. They've got it below the goal line. Erie back up. Ambrosio, hits that one off of the gut of a player from the Steelheads. Top of the right circle, back below the goal line, it'll go. Erie looking for it, it's Messier. Themis and Edwards with the helpers on that rocket launcher of a shot by Carey Terrance. And when he is on, he is one of the most lethal scorers, at least in the Western Conference. Top of the left circle, Ambrosio. That one met immediately. And now it's on Erie. You allowed 3 unanswered. Can you turn it around to 3 unanswered? Outside of the left circle, Frasca. 4 minutes left to go in the second period. This has been a classic game. And if there's only going to be one game in the OHL tonight, it might as well be a barn burner. Shalicki into the offensive end. Outside of the near wall, battled toward the blue line. Henry, back it'll find its way for Themis. Moved in and out of the zone. 28-19 shots in this game. Puck ramps up into the air, dies down inside of the near corner. Moved over right wing side. Puck grabbed out of the air. That one brought back down to earth by Owen Cartwright. Below the goal line, Noah Erliden. Worked up near wall. Henry just gives that one away, finding its way top of the right circle. Otters push it out of the zone. Working its way up and in. Alfano driving the net front. And that one's saved by Ivan Kovic, trying to play the angle game. And a risky decision by Owen Cartwright to put it into his goaltender.
Excellent job, though, from the Erie Otters, driving pucks in and trying to flip it back to the front of the net. And good stuff from Ivan Kovic, shutting the door for these Brampton Steelheads, as Alfano's little backhander almost got the right angle to beat Ivan Kovic. Unfortunately for him, it didn't go, but the Otters, again, really impressive work in the offensive zone.
Due up during our second intermission report, we'll get to know Lucas Ambrosio, which is fitting. We've talked enough about him here tonight. We will also take a look back at the opening 40 because there's a lot to talk about. And then we get a chance to look ahead at a home stand. Home sweet home, Trevor. It's good to be back.
Great to be home.
Back below the goal line, Alfano once again. One's not going to do it for him here tonight. He wants more. Back into the defensive end, it'll go. Schaefer with it. Spence, that's a lucky bounce finding its way to him. He keeps trying to drive it down. Into the corner it'll go. Spence, look what I found. Spence, wide corner with it, top of the right circle, sends it back in. It's Alfano looking after it. 29-19, Erie leading in shots here with under 2.5 remaining. Moved in through neutral ice, Porter Martone. Top of the left circle, finding its way toward the net front and back behind as Martone will take a seat inside of the net. Net comes off, Erliden puts up the proverbial white flag as he lifts his stick and gets out of there. And Martone still down on the ice with his helmet off as the Erie Otters, I believe, got in closer to him.
Yeah, Otters were looking to try and spring ahead quickly with Matthew Schaefer at Kerry Terrence way up down the other end of the ice. And unfortunate that the whistle went there with the net coming off because Erie might have had an odd man rush going back the other way.
2:12 left to go here in the second period. This game has had everything so far. The one thing that it hasn't had, Trevor, is what you predicted in the pregame show, a lack of goals.
It has had anything but a lack of goals. And the Otters and Steelheads have treated us to a very enjoyable one here, and we're still got 22 minutes and 12 seconds of it to enjoy. And we'll see who wants to kind of take the lead here and try and take down the other.
Yeah, who wants to have the momentum? Because it seemed like Brampton was ready to take it, and the Erie Otters clinched momentum from the jaws of despair.
Yeah, they really did, and just unbelievable the way they were able to turn the game, right? And it all started with taking that penalty. At the time, it looked like, that's just an unfortunate break. But then, you go the other way and you turn it into a shorthanded goal. Well, all of a sudden, you just took the momentum and completely changed it. So the Otters have done a really impressive job in doing that as Billy gets the loudest cheer of the night.
Billy is an Erie legend, to say the least. And when he makes an appearance on the ice, it usually means a stoppage in play, and it usually means loud applause. Hopefully we can get an ISO cam on him. I want to see some Billy cam. And here it comes.
Playing to the crowd, too, with a little fist pump. Not a guy that works harder in this building than that man right there.
I have never been in this building where he is not here, and I've been here at some asinine times, as have you. Well, we are back on our way thanks to the quick work of Billy, and this one will move its way back in below the goal line. Second looking after this one. Just over 2 minutes left to go in period number 2. Who wants to take momentum into the second intermission? We'll wait to see. Drawing it up, Royston looking back after it. Back below the goal line it'll go. Erliden will take it. Erliden, never afraid to move the puck. Works this one up the near wall. Out of the zone it'll go, and here comes Wesley Royston putting his head down. Royston, puck up in the air as it hit off of the body of a Steelhead. Broken stick, worked along the corner. Loose lumber, still down to the ice, and back inside of the neutral zone it'll go. 90 seconds remaining here in period 2. Ty Henry with it. Henry up. Taking its way in left wing side. It's Edwards with it. Work down for Royston. Royston puts his head down, and this one moved back below the goal line. A lot of open space for Matthew Schaefer to take it. Up along the near wall, still stuck down there as Erie's up to 30 shots already in this contest. Outside of the right circle.
Last minute of play in the period.
Schaefer takes a shot. This one back to the blue line, and out of the zone it'll go. Worked it along the wide wall. A little bit more of a feeling out process as we are in the closing minute of this second period. No one wants to make that mistake here going into the frame. Schaefer holding the stick. That is an uncommon error for Matthew Schaefer as this one finds its way back below the goal line. Final 35.
That puck looked like it had a weird spin on it.
Knuckle puck, I believe they call that. Out of the right circle it'll go. Porter Martone. Themis not able to grab that one. 24 seconds remaining. Works it up left wing side. Alfano. Below the goal line it'll go for Ivan Kovic. Doesn't take an opportunistic bounce, but it does work out favorably for the Steelheads before the boot of Sam Alfano gets in the way. Schaefer, hip check. Below the goal line, right in front of the net. 5 seconds left to go. Opportunity for Harding in front. Right at the blue paint, and it stays out of the net. Of course, it's going to come down to the final second in that period.
Great chance for the Steelheads, putting the pressure on right at the end right there, but unable to beat Noah Erliden. A pretty juicy rebound right out to the front. However, didn't go in the time expiring, helping out the Erie Otters right there because they were up against it right at the end of that frame. But Erie able to hang on, get away, and hang on to a 4-4 game. And boy, what a third period we've got on deck. This has been as enjoyable a game as we've seen in this building. Of course, the one in Saginaw I did on Friday was as good of an Otters game as I've seen in a long time. And this one's right up there with it. It's back and forth. Good matchup. Two good hockey teams going back and forth. And you've got a game that heading into the third period is right in the balance and could genuinely go either way.
Yeah, to say the least. It's been a classic. I don't want to be on the bench of either team right now. I don't want to be going into the locker room of either team right now because, I mean, what do you say after this? You had momentum if you're Erie, you had a 2-0 lead, and then you gave up 4 goals, and then you scored 2 goals, and now we got a 4-4 game. Your usual star goaltenders have been battle-tested, 50 shots in this game so far. This game's had everything except for defense, really.
Well, I said it to assistant coach Ken Paroff after the game on Friday. I said, well, Kenny, that was a fun one. He goes, Trev, that was a stressful one. So I'm like, well, it's stressful for you, but fun for me up in the booth. And that's exactly, I think, kind of how this one has been, right? Stressful for everybody down there, but for us, this is what we live for. This is what makes our job, right? So really enjoyable game here tonight between two teams, again, that are matching up a lot more comfortably than I think they did the first time they met back on September 28th. Erie much more in this game, but again, I think it's a better Erie team than the one we saw. And again, first week of the season, right, you almost can kind of throw that out because everybody's kind of settling in. You even look at the roster on that night versus the roster tonight. Very different looking group. So, there's some differences here for both sides. But for Brampton, I've liked the way that they've battled, knowing that they're missing a lot of really key contributors. And I think they're being hurt by that in the defensive zone. But, they've done a nice job battling and still kind of hanging in there even without a couple of big pieces tonight.
I would say that's the very least here. 4-4 game is where we are at as we are through the opening 40 minutes of this contest. Whole lot more to come. We're still looking for a winner here. We'll see if we can get it when we come back. Intermission report due up next and a whole lot to talk about.
Across the nation, the Canadian Hockey League is known for investing in moments like this. But did you know we're also investing in this? And this. While you're probably used to seeing us here, we're also here and here. Through the CHL Scholarship Program, clubs award nearly $10 million each year, helping thousands of former players continue their education. So while you're seeing this, we're also doing this. The CHL, developing tomorrow's leaders.
Let the teddy bears rain down! Before there's turkey, let there be bears. On Wednesday, November 27th, join the Erie Otters for Bears and Beers Night, presented by Rebich Investments. Get ready for the most unbelievable night of hockey, featuring the 16th annual Teddy Bear Toss and an all-night happy hour. The first 1,500 fans in the arena will be ready for Thanksgiving with their very own goalie glove oven mitt. Can't bear to wait? Get your tickets now at ottershockey.com. Bears and Beers Night, where we will toss our teddy bears. And currently tonight, Chuck a Puck, where we chuck our pucks onto the ice. As we bring back our United Way friends, all of our Chuck a Pucks will have 50% of the proceeds benefit the United Way of Erie County Community Schools program. So you're tossing pucks, you could win some prizes, but you also have the understanding and the knowing that you're doing good. You're helping the kids in the community, and not just kids, students of all ages like Nas Smith, who's here tonight, running back, safety, marketing student extraordinaire, just great in and out of the classroom, doing it all, and at his first hockey game.
Doing it all, right? He's a man of many talents, and good to have him here in the building here tonight. And, you mentioned doing good. This is like a homestand of doing good, right?
Yeah.
Because you've got, of course, Children's Grief Awareness Night, and then you've got the Teddy Bear Toss all coming up. So it's a really impactful homestand as well as some good hockey action on the ice.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about the homestand that is coming up later on during Intermission Report. You can see our fun graphic of what to look out for, what's coming up, and everything that we've got cooking up here. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun guests coming in as well between Saturday's game. I think one thing we haven't talked a lot about, and again, we'll talk about this later on, but family game night, not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday, final game of November. I know Hallie Giebel, our digital marketing manager, She's been cooking some stuff up in the lab. So we're going to be in for a treat. Our fans are going to be in for a treat. And we've been in for a treat tonight with this hockey game.
We really have been. This has just been an entertaining game, back and forth. One time Erie's on top, and then the Steelheads bounce back. It's just been a really enjoyable watch. If you're a goaltender, look away, right? Or if you're a defenseman, look away, unless you're a guy like a Matthew Schaefer who wants to jump in the rush. I mean, still, though, he's as good as it gets in the D zone. It's just been a wonderful, wonderful watch. And, you know, I think the reason for this is just Erie hasn't been as sharp in their D zone. And for Brampton, they're so backed up, or so beat up, rather, that they're unable to really establish what they want to do in their defensive zone. And they're not really known as a team who is, you know, a superb defensive unit. They're not a Flint Firebirds or, you know, even an Erie Otters or Ottawa 67s or Barrie Colts, where, you know, they're known to be as being a strong defensive team. When I think of the Steelheads, I'm thinking of their really high-powered offense and, you know, being able to find the back of the net, which has been what we've gotten tonight.
Certainly have gotten that. 8 total goals in this one, 50 shots, 30 for the Erie Otters. Don't look away. The Brampton Steelheads had 7. And now they have 20, so a 13-shot period for them. Erie did still come out on top of that period with 16 of their very own. That's 29 shots in one period of play, and that's how we got, 5 goals in that period? 3 for the Brampton Steelheads, 2 for the Erie Otters, a 5-goal period, and we are still evened up in this game, a 4-4 game. 8 goals is not enough just yet. We still got a whole nother period. What are we going to see more? Do you think we'll see more of the same? Or do you think this game's going to start to normalize where it's, all right, rely on your goaltenders. They're going to take care of action. Defense is still out there.
If I'm going to go off of what we've seen this season, I think we'll probably see, for lack of a better term, a more boring third period. But then again, I also called for this to be a slow goaltending battle here tonight. And that has been opposite of what we've seen. But you look at a lot of the games that Erie has played that have gone to overtime, barring other than the Kitchener one, the third period has usually been quite slow, where teams, you don't want to make a mistake, right? Knowing that you're at 4-4, and especially knowing that it's a cross-conference game. So if you do go to overtime, it's not the worst thing in the world. It usually tends to end up that way. So we'll see if the third period is a little bit tighter between these two teams. But hey, I wouldn't complain if we get 7-7 and go to overtime with that scoreline.
No, certainly not. That's just been the way that this game seems like it's going to go. And no complaints here. You paid good money to watch this broadcast. These fine folks paid good money for their tickets. We might as well make a show of it. And I will say one player who's definitely been making a show of his return back to Erie here tonight is Lucas Ambrosio. We've talked a lot about him here tonight. You've heard from him multiple times here tonight. Now here is Lucas Ambrosio in his own words.
Top of the left circle, it'll go. Back down, left wing side. Edwards sends it inside of the corner. Set up play, back to the blue line. Shot through traffic, they score! 18:27 to go in period number 1. And how about it? Lucas Ambrosio, first career Ontario Hockey League goal.
Stay-at-home, shutdown defensemen are always a key to success at the OHL level, and the Otters look to have found themselves a really good one. Lucas Ambrosio was selected by Erie in the second round, number 25 overall in this summer's OHL priority selection. So far, he has adapted to the OHL game very, very well, evolving into a true shutdown defenseman with a very bright future, and already has played some huge minutes for the Otters late in games with the early season absence of Matthew Schaefer. Earlier in the month, he had the chance to represent his country at the U17 World Hockey Challenge. Although he only suited up in 2 games, he was still able to make a big impact in the defensive zone. At the tournament in Sarnia, he joined assistant coach Wes Wolf with Team Canada Red, earning a silver medal after falling to Team Canada White in the gold medal game. This experience is always great for a 16-year-old defenseman looking to learn the speed of the OHL. Getting a chance to play against the best of the best at his age group will only make him a much better player. The Oakville, Ontario native has been great for Erie in limited action, and though it is not the main part of his game, he has already found the back of the net for his first OHL goal, coming October 17th against Kingston, developing into a true shutdown blue liner.
They give you, so you just play a role, play your game, and obviously, like you said, you're pretty good when you're younger, so you get pushed down to the bottom, but you want to make your way up, so just do what you do.
freak out, but I think that's the new Halloween scratch-off.
Wow, top prizes of 100 grand. Can I start freaking out now?
I'm sure it's just a storm.
Well, I did not see that coming.
Scratch-offs this spooky take on a life of their own. Keep on scratching. Boom!
Community Shelter Services has been in the Erie community for the past 50 years and has become much more than a homeless shelter.
We can now keep families together in our new tiny homes in the Kiwanis Family Village.
We serve 4 hot meals a day.
We are a helping hand throughout our community.
We lift our clients up, even on a bad day.
If you'd like to drop off donations, you can do so right here at 655 West 16th Street or visit our website to learn more about our mission of creating a pathway to housing, help, and hope.
Femus throws one on net, trying to jam away at it, and this one will be taken away as it's moved up and away by Owen Cartwright. Back in, bottom of the left circle, moving down and in, they score! 10:45 to go in period number 1, and the Erie Otters strike first blood on home ice. They've been up and down this season, but they are more on the up right now. They are scoring on 25.6%, 1 for 4. Statistically this entire season. Those are not rookie numbers.
That's good numbers for the Otters power play, and there's been some shakeups. Now you got your power play guru back as well.
Moving this one in front, Alfano, they score! Sam Alfano falling down and gives the Otters a 2-0 lead. Moving its way up against the near wall. To the other Harding, Jared Harding up against the left wing side. It'll go for Mason Zabeski. Back in, right wing side, they score! 5:07 left to go in period number 1, and the Brampton Steelheads cut into that Erie Otters lead and allow the first goal allowed by Noah Erliden here on home ice in 3 games. Femus inside of the corner, centering it for Spence, over left wing side, shot! That one might have been robbed either by the stick or by the post. Either way, stays out of the net. And that was only part of the fun that we've had so far here tonight. It has been a game. It has been a game. It has been such a great game. And sometimes you get a little worried. These midweek games, they can be a little bit of, snooze warning. They have that opportunity where it's like, all right, it's not the weekend marquee. It's not the big game. It's the first game, right? They're not playing like that tonight. They're playing like this is it. Like this is the last game of the weekend. Let it all out of the tank. Brampton's on the road. Erie's at home. Why not just make it a slug match? And it has been absolutely that tonight.
It has been exactly that. It's been a very, very enjoyable watch here tonight. And hopefully this is an omen for the rest of the way this weekend is going to go here. So, you've got a Sioux Greyhound team that, again, I think matches up pretty well with this Otters group. I mean, they played them to an overtime game. And if not for some heroics by Brady Martin on the night, well, you would see that. And then you got the Kitchener Rangers, always tough coming into town. So, hopefully this is an omen for the rest of the way here this weekend. But if this is anything to go by, the fans that are going to be joining us not only tonight but all weekend here and into next week, they're going to be treated to something great.
And we already get some great games due up ahead. Again, we'll show you the calendar here in just a little bit, but Friday nights, 3-2 on Friday, college BOGO night. Friday games are fun in general because it's the perfect mix of it's the end of the work week, it's also the weekend. It's that perfect kind of buffer. And now that high school football mostly over, now those Friday games can come back.
Exactly. I always enjoy the Friday night games, too. Again, there's something about the midweeks, right? Because it kicks off your weekend right, and knowing that you're in that spot as we take a look here at what the schedule looks like. You've got the press conference partner. Yeah. That's going to be a fun one with your good buddy, Mayor Joe Schember.
He is like, politics aside, he is just one of the best humans. He has been such an ardent supporter, not just of Children's Grief Awareness Day. And don't make any mistake, that man absolutely shows up and shows out for Children's Grief Awareness Day. He's been such a supporter of this organization. He was at Matthew Schaefer's press conference. We sent out the invitation. You don't know if he's going to be there. He's a very busy man, but it's great to be able to see him everywhere I go. He always remembers a face, and I'm looking forward to it. I know we'll have Connor there from Highmark Caring Place. We'll have the mayor. We're going to have so many representatives, and it's an honor to be a part of that once again on such a big day. And then we got a great weekend still ahead.
Yeah, the Sioux Greyhounds on Friday night, and then Children's Grief Awareness Night. Sean, I know, again, a game that's very near and dear to you, sir, with the Kitchener Rangers in town. And again, I'm putting this on record. I really hope, I know they have to change their uniforms. Please bring the red ones, right? Bring the red alternates here to Erie, PA. I know our equipment manager, Mark Childerley, when he was letting them know, he put it up to them whether you want to wear white or red. So I'm hoping they choose the latter option. They wore them last night against the London Knights, so maybe. But good weekend due up here at the EIA.
And a great week due up ahead right after that as we get the Owen Sound Attack in town for Bears and Beers with the Bayshore Bears, which will be a whole lot of fun. I know Teddy Bear Toss is one we regale. We really do. You know, some people are like, oh, yeah, it's going to be a long delay in the game. No, we love it. I mean, when we get the vice president and our digital marketing team and junior otters out there picking up bears and putting them into barrels and putting them out of the truck for the Salvation Army and just having the Christmas music, I mean, it fills me with a joy that I haven't had since Christmas has grown up as a child.
It's such a special night. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, promotions in all of sports. It's just such a unique thing to hockey. And I just love the way it's done. And when actually we are in Brampton coming up on December 8th, it is their Teddy Bear Toss Day on a Sunday afternoon. So really looking forward to seeing it not only here, but also on the road. I've never seen it anywhere else but here. So really looking forward to that one. And then, of course, the Flint Firebirds coming in.
Well, let's not forget, I don't know, you have unique tastes, certainly. Is Thanksgiving a big holiday for you? It's football.
That's why I love it. It's my favorite holiday because all I can do is just sit around and watch football all day, and it's a bonus day. Those are 2 extra NFL games that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to watch that I do get to watch because they're on a separate day. And then you got the Black Friday game now too. So, like, you know, it's a great time of year for me. I love Thanksgiving.
And we alluded to it a little bit earlier on, but Family Game Night is our final game of November. That's when the Flint Firebirds come to town. Showcase, showdown, minute-to-win-it games all over. We're going to have to find our ugliest suit coats because we're going full game show for that night.
Wow, okay. You put it out there. We'll see what we can do. I mean, I did rock the one that we had for a retro game night with the things on the elbows there. So we'll see what you cook up for me because I know in that department you're certainly the superior one when it comes to crazy and fun suit jackets.
That was a very good spin on that. We'll take a very quick break. When we come back, period number 3 due up from the EIA.
Where do Otter fans go when they want the best of the best off the ice? Interstate Mitsubishi and Interstate Nissan. Interstate has Erie's hottest starting lineups of cars, trucks, SUVs, and EVs from both Interstate Nissan and Mitsubishi. Selection, savings, and top trade values, it's the Interstate hat trick. Earning your business every day on every deal. Shop online at interstateautooutlet.com. Proud supporters of Erie hockey, let's go Otters.
Join the brewery for late night happy hour featuring half-off appetizers every Friday and Saturday night from 8 to 10 p.m.
Real beer, real historic atmosphere. The brewery at Union Station.
The Teddy Bears rain down.
Before there's turkey, let there be bears. On Wednesday, November 27th, join the Erie Otters for Bears and Beers Night, presented by Revich Investments. Get ready for the most unbelievable night of hockey, featuring the 16th annual Teddy Bear Toss and an all-night happy hour. The first 1,500 fans in the arena will be ready for Thanksgiving with their very own goalie glove oven mitt. Can't bear to wait? Get your tickets now at ottershockey.com. We are ready to hip-hop into the third period here, a 4-4 game. Trevor, this has been an absolute dandy, though if you're a fan of either team, maybe not the easiest watch of all time because you don't know what team's going to come out at any minute of any part of this game.
Yeah, quite stressful for those on the bench in suits down there, the coaches. But for us up here, what an enjoyable watch. Who's going to step up?
Well, here we go. Third period of action underway. 4-4 game. Anybody's game at this point. Momentum right about in the middle. Erie leads in shots 30-20. Let's see what team comes out ready to win this one in the third. Back inside of the defensive end it'll go. Malcolm Spence battling for it. This one finding its way over to the left wing side. Schaefer seems like someone who's really ready. He's smelling blood in the water. He really got hot after the goal that put Erie down by 2. He turned on another level. Femus As this one finds its way up just a little bit past Sam Alfano and back inside of the neutral zone it'll go. Moved into the defensive end, sent out of the zone. And Otter is hit right in front of the bench as he's trying to go off.
Malcolm Spence.
Yeah, Spence is crawling to get himself back onto the bench. A little bit of a collision as he was trying to go off. A lot of behind the stuff play in this game from either side. Erie moving it in. No shots recorded by either side of the opening minute as this one bounces toward the net front. Back at the blue line it'll go. Nearly offside from Lucas Ambrosio. Out to the neutral zone. Royston battling in after it. Fibigirl sent it back in, and below the goal line it'll go. Here's Henry with it. Henry, man on his back. Royston. Forward and up and in it'll go. Henry, top of the right circle. Down below the goal line. Frasco waiting at the blue line with it. Back below the goal line it'll go. Ivan Kovic watching. Karen Witkowski. Moves this one across center, finding its way in. Fibigirl takes a little bit of a check back after by Ty Henry. Below it'll go for Gabe Frasca. Henry with it. Henry below the goal line. Worked up in the right, the wide wall to the blue line, out of the zone it'll go. Erie looking back after this one. 2 minutes gone by in period number 3. Definitely more of a feeling out process as you predicted so far in the opening 2 minutes. Top of the right circle it'll go. Amato sent it back behind. Davio takes it. Hammond trying to split the gap. Puck does find its way in the offensive end. Top of the right circle. He'll battle it back below the goal line. 17 and a half remaining in this contest. Outside the left circle. Back of the blue line. Shot in. A rising shot finding its way back in the near corner. The blue line it'll go. Themis. Through traffic, right in front, trying to jam it through. They score! Malcolm Spence at the doorstep. Otters back on top, 5-4. Second of the night for number 17, and Erie with 3 unanswered of their own.
Malcolm Spence going to work down low, and he is going to find the back of the net. Porter Martone just said something to the referee. Now he's over at the scorer's table, and Ryan Harrison, penalty box door opens. Not sure if that was maybe about a challenge or what that could be about, but Malcolm Spence, unbelievable job going to work down below the goal line and able to finish it off. That's his second of the hockey game, and now number 11 as he ties Kerry Terrance at the top of the Otters goal leaderboard here this season.
A shorthanded goal for Spence earlier. If this one stands, it will be a 5-on-5 goal. And number 11 on the year for number 17. And both officials are over at the scorer's box, and the headsets are coming out. We'll see if the tablet comes out with it.
Well, that's Kirsten Welsh working the lines here tonight. So that means that maybe offside could be the call. And usually,
for a potential offside.
Usually if that's the case, it usually ends up being offside. So could be an interesting one here. Of course, don't have the luxury of the cameras right down the blue lines and, in the boards like you see at the NHL level, but this is an interesting one. Porter Martone, the Steelheads captain, right away went over and said, we'd like to challenge that. When it's that quick, usually they have something. So we'll see if this one will indeed count. It would certainly hurt for the Otters if it doesn't, but on the other side of that, that'd be a heads up to the video team.
Well, nothing definitive looking from that.
It's got to be on the entry.
Yeah.
Just the initial entry into the zone.
Really great play, really good crash in the net from the Erie Otters side. No goal is the call. And, well, we would have to say it would be on the entry. They saw something we didn't. Porter Martone saw it immediately.
That was pretty quick.
Offside.
Pretty quick review, so must have been pretty definitive. That's one that Erie will certainly be frustrated with.
And the horn blows as you hear from the Brampton Steelheads radio voice, Mike Karafalidis.
Well, you got to make sure the clock's right.
Yes.
They're going to have to add on time because then they do up to 17:37 to go here in the hockey game now. So you got to add on the time. That would have been a pretty big boo-boo if they did not.
Face off just outside of the offensive end. as Erie looks for this one. Moving its way back into the defensive end. Schaefer with it. Well, we'll see if Erie can respond to this pressure. You have to have resiliency when you get the emotional high of having a goal. You need to answer with it, and they do! They score! Who else? Malcolm Spence again! And this one will count. His second of the night, his 11th of the season, officially.
If at first you don't succeed, well, then try again. The Otters go right back to work on the forecheck, getting pucks deep and going to work down below the goal line. And Sam Alfano at the heart of this with an unbelievable shift and a great job right there by Malcolm Spence to finish it off and to find a way to just keep at it, right? Just keep doing what you're doing. He was rewarded, unfortunately, offside. Well, he goes right back and gets it right back for Erie.
That is an unbelievable storyline. Malcolm Spence, goal taken off the board. He says, I'm getting mine. And he gets his. And the Otters are back up, 5-4.
What's funny about it is the time that the goal went in was, I think, pretty close, if not the exact same time as what the previous one would have gone in at.
Probably mere milliseconds of a difference. It's incredible. It's a reset. It really is. Back down the ice, this one will go for an icing. 16:56 to go. And the Erie Otters will find themselves in their defensive zone. Malcolm Spence, what a night he's having. What a season he's having. You expect to show up in your draft year, but to really be doing it at this level, he's special.
He really is, and I guess puck don't lie, as they would say. And that's exactly what happens for the Otters as they find a way to find the back of the net and take the lead right back here.
Back below the goal line, this one will go. Spence, who
11th of the season, scored by number 17, Malcolm Spence. Assisted by number 33, Sam Alfano.
Boy, he's having a special night, too. And Pano-Femus and Sam Alfano both pick up helpers on that one with 16:37 to go. We head to a stoppage and play and a face-off due up. Malcolm Spence, I mean, it's a two-goal night for him. He had his first hat trick in his OHL career back a few weeks ago in Niagara. That was still this month. There's no reason to believe that he would not be capable of having his second career one mere weeks later.
Yeah, you wouldn't mind it. Certainly a little under 2 weeks, actually, since that happened. That was back on November 7th, and we're here at the 20th. So what, 13 days ago back at the Meridian Center. So Malcolm Spence, Erie, I think, is going to need more than just this one goal here to hang on to this lead.
Hard to believe that was under 2 weeks ago. Feels like a lifetime ago already. Worked over left wing side and an opportunity driving toward the net front for Carson Rakoff. They're coming in dangerously close. Back out of the zone it'll go. 16:15 left to go in the third period. We won't know if it'll be enough just yet, but it's enough right now as the Otters have a 5-4 lead. Below the goal line, this one goes. Sauter looking after it. Frasca. Back up blue line, immediately kicked away. Alex Messier felt every bit of that one. Back below the goal line, it'll go. Play toward the net front. Erie shuts it down initially. Back of the blue, it'll go. Martone, right wing side. Walking it down, back below the goal line. Misa stopping on a dime. Misa, who's been a difference maker here today, taken out of the play by by Matthew Schaefer. Sauter. Forward, Frasca, in, Hammond, over it'll go for Messier, back behind. Out to the right wall, played forward for Troy Patton. Patton below the goal line. Here's Holomego looking after it. Moving its way inside of the wide corner. Frasca sent down onto the ice. Erie brings it in, it's Alex Messier driving the truck. Bottom of the right circle, he's got it back. Patton below the goal line. Top of the right circle after it'll go. Erie sends this one down and in. Back below the goal line, Alfano once again in the mix trying to get a piece of this one. Erie will take it. Themis with it outside of the right circle. Spence back for Davio. Moving its way forward, Alfano looking after it. Up along the wide wall, Alfano, this one dumps its way all the way out of the zone, and Erie will look back for it inside of the defensive end. Henry, up for Alfano, back it'll go, quick passing, shut back down, taken away by Mason Zabeski. Out through neutral ice it'll go. Here's Zhidlicki bringing it in. Zhidlicki, 14-13 left to go here in the third period. Erie leads by a goal. Malcolm Spence is second of the night. Moving its way in left wing side, Henry drives it the rest of the way in. Below the goal line, Erie inside of their offensive end. It's Royston over with it. Royston back in the near corner. He's hit back in. Edwards looks for it. Edwards out to the wide wall. It'll go. Ty Henry and finding its way back into the defensive end for Erie. Ambrosio with it. Over for Carey Terrance. Terrance uses his stick like a pool cue and gets this one played up to the blue line. G through traffic. That one rising as it finds its way back down to earth for Amato to take. Erie to the blue line out of the zone. Kicked back in. Ty Henry with it. Henry. Just over 13 minutes remaining in the contest. Erie with a 1-goal lead. Likely going to need more to get this one put away. G back in defensive ice. Looked over for Witkowski. Back into the defensive end. It'll go for Ambrosio. Top of the left circle, Witkowski. Nice move. Work down left wing side, right to the net front. And Erie able to snuff that one out. Hits off of the back of the skate of Hammond and kept in. Good forecheck going for the Steelheads. Hammond with it. Hammond leads it forward, moving its way in. Offside, and Erie will lose possession of it. Back in the defensive end. Here's Misa as Alfano came streaking in after it, working its way in. Onside, they'll say, left wing side shot, rising over the elbow of Erliden. The blue line, now back below the goal line. Schaefer slows things down, bottom of the right circle, still moving its way up, top of the right circle. Loose in front of the net, and Erie shuts it down as they've got a 4-on-2 developing. Femus in left wing side, Spence back, Schaefer over for Alfano to Femus. What a save, Ivan Kovic with the glove.
Great passing from the Otters, in on the entry quick, but Ivan Kovic comes up big with a glove stop.
My OHL helps bring charitable programs to life. Started McFadden's movement in my 4th year with the Guelph Storm. Had a family friend die by suicide. Learned from a young age that mental health was important, and having a lot of help from the organization in the Guelph Storm has definitely shaped McFadden's movement into what it is. I'm really happy with where things have ended up.
Trevor, if there was ever a night for us to get a t-shirt during a t-shirt toss, I feel like the way that this game has gone, it seems like the night, but it's not feeling like our night. Lucky fans unraveling their t-shirts. And Trevor and I's unfortunate journey seems to continue without a t-shirt. It hurts every time.
It's a good try.
It was. I mean, even Otto, he generally looked in our direction. He's quite a bit farther away, but hey, all you can do is try.
Yeah, it would take quite the cannon for Otto to snap one up here from where he was. But hey, it's always worth a try. Eventually, maybe we'll get one.
Otto has been known to have an arm, Trevor.
That's true. We did see it this morning.
That's true.
With how he was handling all those turkeys and almost flexing with all the turkeys.
The turkeys were like nothing to him. He's a strong otter. This one finding its way in front. A little bit of a mistake played back behind. And hey, another thank you to our friends at Erie News Now, Happy 927, and of course the Second Harvest Food Bank. What a nice way to start the morning. Beautiful morning out there. Got to be able to help assist in the donations of turkeys and hams and mashed potatoes and everything. What a time.
Yeah, what a cool event. And Sean, I think you and I were lucky we had the 10 o'clock shift to get things started before the weather started to turn. It was about 60 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, and then all of a sudden looked like the apocalypse in downtown Erie.
It seemed like every cloud that was in the sky above us fell to earth, and you're right, it looked like zombies were about to come out of UPMC Park from our office window. Below the goal line, this one battled for. Erie inside of the defensive end. This has been a much slower, not in terms of game speed, just in terms of momentum in period number 3, as either team is trying not to make that critical mistake. Erie already got the 1-goal lead in this period. Royston driving it in, shot, punched away, loose in front and sent back behind. Top of the left circle, it'll go. Driving the blue line, sent down and in, and Ivan Kovic with the save. 11:03 left to go. So this is kind of what you expected would happen here in the third period. Things slowing down because it's not the hellacious pace of saying, okay, we can fly up and down the ice. If we go down by a goal, it's whatever.
And I think for the Otters, you just want to kind of keep it at this pace, especially when you're up, right? When you're winning a game, you want to kind of dictate the pace. And I think the Otters have done a decent enough job at that. They're starting to really pull away in shots on goal and trying to, again, continue to keep pucks in their offensive end.
Easier said than done, especially against a team like the Brampton Steelheads. Loose in front of the net, it'll go initially. Still loose down there as that one's sent behind by Sherrod. Bottom of the right circle, it'll go to the blue line, sent through traffic, and held onto by netminder Noah Erliden. 10:40 left to go, and more of the rough stuff happening back inside of the net area.
I think for the Steelheads, they're going to need to have one of those type of shifts where they have scored tonight of just, again, putting the pressure on and not allowing Erie to get out of their own defensive end. And we haven't really seen that from them in the third period, and I think that's why they haven't really been able to generate the shooting opportunities that they would like to here in this final frame. And, you know, I'd say certainly throughout a little under the first half of the period, advantage Otters.
Scoreboard certainly indicates that way. Erie up 5-4, 36-23 in shots. And you're just over half of this period remaining from picking up your third consecutive home win here and looking to do it in a big way. Back inside of the defensive end, this one will go. Moved back into the neutral zone. Alfano brings it in top of the right circle. Alfano battling below the goal line. Taken away, Rakoff with it. Over to Porter Martone, and this is the line you really need to show up here if you're the Brampton Steelheads. Down it'll go on the goal line. Malcolm Spence sending his man down to the ice. Spence right in front, they score! Sam Alfano, his second of the night. Otters lead it 6-4.
Otters again, keeping the forecheck on, keeping the pressure on, and it's this line again. They've been rather quiet over the last week or so. Well, they have been mighty loud tonight, contributing plenty for the Erie Otters as Sam Alfano going right to the front of the net, able to finish it off. We'll see if Panofemis gets another assist on this one. He could have a 4-point night. Otters forwards have been really impressive today. And now there's that 2-goal lead you need. You still got a lot of time left to go, but you're feeling a lot more comfortable up 2 than just 1.
Absolutely, and up 2 as we get another look at it here. And it's just perfect. And Sam Alfano from that point-blank range, he's not missing it. What a feed from Malcolm Spence. Spence is just on an ethereal plane tonight when it comes to that offensive game. Frasca riding in. Frasca's shot. That one finding its way back inside of the corner and out of the zone it'll go. Here come the Brampton Steelheads. Time starting to work against them. 2-goal deficit, under half of the period remaining. Back it'll go. Out of the zone it comes for Alex Messier. Messier driving and riding up as he's got a man on his back. Tried to center that one. No such luck. Down in the mid-slot. Back up top of the right circle, a 10-goal night between these two goaltenders. One that you want to burn the tape a little bit more, but for the offenses, they are thriving and riding high tonight. Well, the goal line, Royston looking for it. Edwards getting in the mix. Back below the goal line, it'll go. Worked up for Zhidlicki.
12th of the season, scored by number 33, Sam Alfano. Assisted by number 17, Malcolm Spence.
And Femis does pick up a point there. We once again have a new goals leader in this clubhouse for the Erie Otters, Sam Alfano.
Just keeps going back and forth and back and forth. Always fun. And I imagine a little bit of a fun game between the guys on the bench as well, being able to chat about it.
Oh, a sign of a healthy team is how competitive they are about the little things. And you want to talk about getting on the bus for that next road trip and saying, hey, by the way, boys, I'm carrying the ship here. Back into the defensive end it'll go. 8:20 remaining. Erie with a 2-goal lead, looking to put this one away and fry the fish for their final home meeting. Outside of the left circle it'll go. Alfano back below the goal line. Puck goes up into the air. Bottom of the right circle it'll go. Spence battling after this one. Femis
Back to the blue line, shot in. Where's the puck? Right in front. It goes for Alfano as he was waiting to see some hats hit the ice. Back it'll go for Alfano. Spence down there as well. Spence shot. That one set aside. 2 players on that line on hat trick watch. And a hat trick here would probably be enough to put this one away. Below the goal line it'll go. Schaefer with it. Alfano leads it the rest of the way out of the zone. 7:33 remaining in this game. 6-4 the Otters lead. Rakoff below the goal line. Schaefer. Up it'll go for Alfano. Moved out to neutral ice. 38-23, the Otters leading in shots. Martone with it, down through traffic, back below the goal line. Here's Edwards with it. Up and in, carry Tarrant, look at him rush in, Tarrant, nearly runs face first into the net, immediately gets up, shows his quick reflexes. Henry brings this one around back behind, Tarrant's looking for it. Spence, out it'll go for Misa. Rakoff forward, Rakoff up and in. Bottom of the right circle, it'll go toward Rakoff and taken away by Ty Henry. 6:40 remaining in the contest. Henry rushing in. Henry right to the net front, up in the air and over the top of the net. Back it'll go, top of the left circle. 6:26 remaining here. Erie battling for this one, finding its way back through neutral ice. Below the goal line it'll go, delayed offside, and Erie gets right back on. Kraska, as he's sent down out of the ice. Puck finds its way inside of the corner. Hammond battling in after this one. Sauter to the wide wall, back behind it'll go for Messier. Messier, one hand on the stick as he's battling off a Steelhead player. Bottom of the left circle, right in front, falling down, and Ivan Kovic falls on top of it with 5:50 left to go as more of the rough stuff develops.
Ivan Kovic took a high stick. That was unintentional, but boy, he got sent tumbling back into the net there. Messier took one that wasn't called down below the goal line, but that's a really strong shift from the Otters, putting on the forecheck and again just cycling it around, not allowing the Steelheads anywhere near the puck.
Whew, what a game we've had so far here. It's a 10-goal total game. Erie with a 6-4 lead. Under 6 minutes left to go. You've already produced 4 goals here for the Steelheads. In a lot of games, it's going to be enough for you, but you really got to start to pull out the bag of tricks here because Erie's offense is now up to 40 shots. And the Steelheads, I don't know if you're keeping count, they have 3 shots in this period.
And the eye test has certainly backed that up because they've really been nowhere near their offensive zone. It's been, again, really 2 different teams that we've seen really all 3 periods of this game from both sides. And really entertaining stuff from the Otters in this period. They went out there, they dug deeper, and they've still got 5:50 left to go in this game. But, you know, if you were to ask me right now, and I may have a different answer for you when the final buzzer sounds, but for me, Erie's got this one. We'll see if they can really finish it off because, you know, all the momentum's going their way right now. They cannot let this slip.
No, they certainly can't. 2-goal lead, final 6 minutes. And the fans are certainly feeling that emotion as well. The dance cam going on. It's a Wednesday night. It's a hockey night in Erie, and Erie trying to give the hometown faithful something to look forward to the rest of the weekend for. This is something that powers you through the rest of the work week.
A great way to start the weekend as well for the Erie Otters if they can find the 2 points here because, again, it just sets the tone for the weekend and what you can expect the rest of the way.
Face off in the left circle, Erie in the offensive end. One more goal for the Otters, and this one's done for good. 1 goal for the Steelheads, depending on how much time remains, and we've got ourselves a close one. Erie was looking for the dagger right there as Ivan Kovic has to make the save. By the way, his 35th save of the night.
He's been a busy guy, and, you know, even when you give up 6 goals, 35 saves, still, you know, pretty good numbers. I guess, well, not great numbers, but a solid night for him personally in terms of, you know, a high number of saves. Great chance for Malcolm Spence. Sam Alfano, great feed in front. Spence shut down.
Spence and Alfano on hat trick watch here tonight. Panofemis has got a bundle of points. Moves this one back to Alfano. And that one held onto by Ivan Kovic. So if you're Ivan Kovic here, you're saying, hey, listen, I know I've not carried water in this game,
but I need it out of the defensive end if we're going to make an effort.
Well, every time this line goes forward, it's like something magical could happen. They look so dangerous every time they're in possession, and that's obviously a really good sign to see if you're of the Navy and Gold persuasion.
Moving its way over for Nathan Sauter. Sauter sends it back below the goal line. Themis toward the net front. Out it'll go for the right wing side. Malcolm Spence tried to get in the way down there. Sauter stepping up after this one. Themis looking for it. Alfano will send it back below the goal line. Here's Spence rushing in after it. Pano, Themis, got it. Themis back. Alfano, he scores! Let there be hats. Sam Alfano with his third of the night. Our Roscoe Sports Bar and Grill player to watch. How's a 3-goal night for number 33?
Really impressive stuff for Sam Alfano. He's just such a pure goal scorer, and that's what he's able to do right here. Otters put the pressure on once again. This line, they're so dangerous every time they're going forward, and Sam Alfano gets rewarded in front of the net as he's able to beat Jack Ivankovic and make it 7-4. That should be the one that gets Erie over the line with just over 5 to play. But, I mean, if they could play the rest of the game, Erie might score 10 tonight.
A 7-goal outburst for an Erie team that was held to 1 goal on Saturday night. And this is a response game that Erie needed, barring a pretty impressive comeback as we get another look here at the goal for Sam Alfano. It's how he scored all of his goals here tonight, right? It's basically just that mid-slot. If you don't guard it, he's going to put it away.
Who's getting the primary assist on that, too? 98.
Yep.
Great pass, little backhand, little flick it right to the front there for Sam Alfano, and he sends it into the back of the net. And you know, we talked about it earlier on tonight. What version of the Steelheads are we going to get was the question. Well, we've got the one that hasn't been good in the defensive zone, and it's cost them 7 times.
How about 1 goal and 5 assists for Pano Themis?
The season scored by number 33, Sam Alfano. Assisted by number 98, Pano Themis. Down the goal.
Pano Themis with the primary and only assist. 1 goal and 5 assists is a ridiculous stat line. He's a +5 as well, as this one sent back below the goal line. +5, not easy to be in a game where there's been 4 goals against.
When you're involved in 6 of the 7 your team scores, though, right? But Pano Themis usually not a player you see many minuses next to because of the way he is and the way he plays.
What an unbelievable night for that line. Spence with a 2-goal night, a 3-goal night for Alfano, a goal for Pano Themis. He's got 5 assists to his credit. Your 3 stars tonight is just going to be that line.
That's what it should be, right? And that's the easier way. You go Spence and then Themis Alfano, or do you go Spence Alfano Themis? That's a big question.
Themis drove the bus for you, you know? I mean, all regard and all credit in the world to Sam Alfano, but you're not getting those goals without Pano Themis feeding you. Loose in front. And this one will find its way back to the blue line. All 3 guys well deserving, and if there's any alternates from the Erie Otters side who gets a goal or a star marker to their name as well, I mean, what a third period here for Erie.
Just an unbelievable third period. You know, we talked about the message for Brampton going into the second. What's the message for Erie going into the third? Because they have just been so dynamic.
Frasca drove that one toward the net front. Out of the zone it'll go. 3:20 remaining. Can't imagine that with a 3-goal deficit. We're going to see Ivankovic hit the bench. So for Erie, keep the pedal to the metal, do what's worked for you, and consider yourself winners of every home game in November so far. A good omen going into 4 straight more at home. Henry below the goal line. Worked up, it'll go out of the zone. This one finds its way back for Alfano. Up against the near wall, Cartwright looking for it. Erie's got it. It's Themis once again. Themis back near corner. And this one will find its way up and out of the zone. 2 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the contest. Back near corner. And it just really seems like in this period, Erie came in with the mindset of kill. They said, let's get this game over with. We know we can win this one. We know we've led in this one. Put it away.
Yeah, and they really have executed that plan as well.
Themis shot in. That one up into the air. Themis looking forward once again. A 6-point night for him. 1 to his credit in the G column, 5 in the A column. 44 shots result in 7 goals for the Erie Otters. Hammond, up and now this one will go back in below the goal line. Sauter, up for Royston. Royston to Terrance. Carey Terrance, fancy move. Off the boot of Dylan Edwards. Edwards below the goal line looking back after this one. 1:45 left to go in period number 3. It's a 7-4 lead for the Erie Otters as they are ready to celebrate a big win on home ice against a foe who has had their number in the last season and a half, as this one goes down for an icing with $1:32 remaining. And really that's, you know, it's not the most important part by any means, but you're exercising a demon. You didn't beat them at all last year. They really had your number in 2023 as well. And now you're coming back and saying, okay, we split the season series so far. Now we got to go back to your barn.
Yeah, and that's a huge vote of confidence for the Otters. And I want to go back to a point you made earlier tonight about Erie averaging a lot of shots on goals here in this building. Well, they're up to 44 again tonight. So pretty good numbers for Erie in terms of chance creation and capitalizing on said chances.
Ambrosio back for Henry. Up for Hammond. Hammond entering into the offensive end outside of the right circle. Hammond, he'll take a tumble. Official will go down as a result. Back to the blue line it'll go. Hammond back as this one finds its way in the trapezoid. Frasca found it. Frasca, bottom of the right circle. Final minute of play here. Frasca toward the net front. Ivan Kovic with a save. Back it'll go to the blue line. Erie sends this one back down. Inside of the near corner it'll go, a 45-shot game. Frasca again, and a save again by Ivan Kovic. Down below the goal line. The blue line, Frasca. And inside of the defensive end it'll go. Frasca. 28 seconds left to go here. Moved in, Spence shot, why not? You're looking for the hat trick. 18 seconds left to go. Schaefer battling in the corner. Schaefer up, it'll go to the blue line. Puck out of the zone. The Erie fans feel it. Sauter will take it back, and that'll do it. The Erie Otters victors 7-4 on home ice. Not the prettiest win in the world, but you know what it is? It's a win. And for the Erie Otters, you score 7 goals on home ice. You take the victory, and the first of a 5-game homestand is a win.
2 points for the Erie Otters, and that's a huge one here to kick off the homestand. And again, like I mentioned, set the tone for how this homestand is going to go, hopefully, and how you want it to go. They looked energized tonight, maybe not so much in the second period, but a really, really strong third period gets the job done for the Otters as they take care of business and win this one by a final of 7-4.
7-4 victory. Erie has not lost on home ice yet this month. And with some tough games that they've had, Barrie on the 2nd, Sarnia on the 9th, tonight here against Brampton, and 4 more tough games ahead, well, home cooking is serving up right at the right time in turkey time.
Really is for the Erie Otters, and they're hoping that, again, you can have a really good homestand, and then that kind of takes you really close to Christmas, where you've got 4 road games and then 2 home games, and then you're on break, right? So if you can go out and take 4 of these 5, you're 1 for 1. You've got 4 more to go. Kind of keep every game separate, right? And then try and just pick up the 2 points on the night. This is a big win to get things started, but you look ahead to what is a very tough weekend. Probably the toughest part of this homestand is this weekend coming up. So you come in with some momentum over a solid but beat up Brampton team, and then you go into a really, really rough weekend with the Sioux Greyhounds and then the Kitchener Rangers to wrap it up on Saturday.
And one big thing about tonight's game, Erie's last 2 home games were shutout victories for their goaltender. He was 21-25 tonight. He got the win, but it wasn't him tonight. It was the offense that took care of business. So even when your goaltender's not having a premier, world-changing night, you give him the credit and you back him up.
You're going to have a lot of nights in this league where you outscore your opponent to win. I think that's something that if you've been following the league for a long time, you know that you're going to see a lot more nights like this than not. And I think that's exactly how this one played out.
Duncan, tonight's third star with 2 goals and 1 assist. Erie forward number 17, Malcolm Spence.
So far, as you expected, Malcolm Spence had a really good game. He really showed up like a player ready to play. 2 goals and assists and a +5.
Well, you know that your team's doing well when a guy gets 3 points, a 2-goal night, and he's your third star. And Malcolm Spence, really strong game for him tonight.
Second star with a goal and 4 assists. Erie forward number 98, Pano Femis.
Femis, 1 goal, 4 assists officially. Thought he got the 5th one. It looks like they might not have given him the credit on there, or maybe they did. Am I counting right? Nope, okay. I'm seeing 4 assists, so yeah. 1 goal, 4 assists, regardless of the numbers. Pano Femis was the bus driver tonight.
Dynamic 5-point night for Pano.
Forward number 33, Sam Alfano.
This kid is going to have such a great hockey career. It's his overage season. Pro hockey's waiting for him. He's got the right build. Let's hear what he has to say.
Fans, I'm here with your first star of the game, Erie forward, number 33, Sam Alfano. Sam, I got to ask you, you obviously had the hat trick tonight. When you're playing like you are tonight, does it feel like every time that puck touches your stick, you're going to score?
Not exactly. You never know when the chances are going to come, but when I play on a line like I do and we're feeling it like we were tonight, we know good things are going to happen if we keep working hard, and obviously the bounces went our way tonight. It feels great.
And next, I got to ask, do you think with the offensive explosions you had tonight that you're going to bring some momentum into this weekend?
That's always the goal.
The bath. Oh, that looked cold.
You know I had to get out of the way for that, but continue.
Yeah, that's always the goal. Obviously, we want to start the week off strong, and we did that against a good team here tonight, but it's only the first one, so we got to keep going here.
All righty, thank you for your time, Sam. Everyone, once again, give it up for your first star of the game, Erie forward, number 33, Sam Alfano.
Boy, you play the game, you get the ice bath. That's tough. It feels good because, that's my Gatorade bath. That's my water bath. But, man, you don't expect it, and that makes it so much tough.
Only way to cool him off.
That's right.
And when you score 3, Sam Alfano, just a terrific game for big number 33, and that line buzzing tonight for the Erie Otters. And, again, it's been a kind of an up-and-down stretch for that group over the last couple of games, but they're back tonight. They're much, much more like what we are accustomed to seeing from that trio, especially, ever since they put Malcolm Spence with Pano Femis and Sam Alfano. And, Tyler Challenger said it earlier this week, there aren't really 2 easier guys to play with than Pano Femis and Sam Alfano. And then you add an elite scorer like Malcolm Spence to that group. It's just a really formidable trio. And, they were certainly carrying the barrel tonight and giving the Otters what they needed in that third period, really stepping up big in the third period to get them over the line and get them a victory.
One line for you here tonight had 6 goals in a 7-goal game. One line. It's incredible.
It really is. It really is. And, it shows, too, that if there's a night where a line is buzzing like that, well, they can steal a game for you. And that line really did tonight. I mean, you do have the shorthanded goal from Malcolm Spence that came from Kerry Terrance on that 2-on-1. But other than that, I mean, that line, they ran the show tonight. And just unbelievable what they were able to do, and really looking forward to getting their thoughts on, how they were able to do it. Because, again, it's been rough, but they bounced back tonight. They're all such talented players, and they're also unique in their own ways. And I said that when Dylan Edwards was playing with Femis and Alfano. They're very unique guys, but I think that's what makes it all work. And, you see them all together, and it's just magic on the ice.
Erie wins this one 7-4. They finally expunge the demons that they've had against the Brampton Steelheads, formerly the Mississauga Steelheads. They did not win a game last season against them. 1-1 this season. Big win here. How about this? 3-0 in the month of November on home ice.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Try and make it 4 on Friday.
Erie Otters 7-4 victors here tonight. Post-game show due up next. We'll have all of what you can look forward to ahead, and of course the highlights from a very exciting Wednesday night only game in the OHL, and it lived up to it, especially in the goal column.
This is my legacy.
Tacoma has a dominant legacy as America's favorite small pickup for almost 2 decades. Known for reliability and capability. Now buy a Tacoma with low 4.99 APR or lease an SR for $279 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
When it comes to health education in the Erie region, Northwest Pennsylvania AHEC is the name to know. But what is AHEC? Do they provide education to high school students on health careers?
AHEC does that.
Continued medical education for professionals?
AHEC does that.
Training for community health workers?
AHEC does that.
And even more?
AHEC, yeah, they do that.
Learn more today at nwpaahec.org. Northwest Pennsylvania Area Health Education Center, advancing Pennsylvania's health through education. Welcome back in post-game show. How about that one? 7-4, Erie Otters victors on a Wednesday night, only game in the Ontario Hockey League, but when you have 11 goals in one game, you don't really need any more games going on. Thanks for joining us here on the post-game show. Sean Bennett alongside you, Trevor Kubea downstairs talking to the heroes of tonight's game, and hopefully Sam Alfano was able to dry off at least a little bit more. Hey, what a game here tonight. Whole lot of fun. Erie Otters, 7-4 victors. We'll go down those first stars for you. Sam Alfano, 3-goal night, first star. Pano Femus, 1 goal, 4 assists, second star. Malcolm Spence, 2 goals, 1 assist, third star for you. It's a pretty good starting 3 for you. That's a pretty good line. That's one line, taking all 3 stars. Good sign of things to come. Erie Otters 3-0 on home ice in the month of November. Tough weekend due up ahead. Got Sault Ste. Marie on Friday night, Kitchener on Saturday. Next weekend, Owen Sound on Wednesday, Flint Firebirds on Saturday. Doesn't get easier, but you've played good hockey so far. Erie is doing what they need to. They have taken on 2 Eastern Conference foes here on home ice and got the win. 1 Western Conference foe got the win. 2 of those coming in shutouts. Tonight, not quite a shutout for either team's goaltender by any means, but Erie once again putting up over 40 shots on home ice. Let's take a look at what those next games ahead are. That next game due up for you. It's going to be a good one. It's 3-2-1 Friday. $3 Labatt Blue Light drafts. $2 hot dogs, $1 popcorn until the start of the third period. It really doesn't get much better than that. And we take a look at the games that follow after that. Upcoming games for you. Sault Ste. Marie's that one we talked about, 3-2-1 Friday on Friday night. Kitchener coming to town for Children's Grief Awareness Night, our 3rd annual edition of that game. And that just leads us into our calendar of what's ahead. Erie Otters again hosting, or well, hosted, I should say, the Brampton Steelheads here tonight. Got the victory. Tomorrow, tune in to Mayor Joe Schember's press conference as we celebrate and observe Children's Grief Awareness Day, the 16th annual observation and celebration of the day, with the 3rd annual game due up on Saturday. So Friday night, 3-2-1 Friday, Sioux Greyhounds in town. Final game of the season between those 2 teams, at least in the regular season. We'll see what the playoffs have to bring. And Saturday night, how is it already? Meeting number 4 between the Erie Otters and the Kitchener Rangers. Well, that's just the way it goes sometimes here in the Ontario Hockey League. A very entertaining game here tonight on a Saturday night. Wednesday night. It's been a week, folks. Wednesday night, 7-4 victors here tonight. They finally beat the Brampton Steelheads. They have not beat the Steelheads since the 2022-2023 season. Long time coming. It's done. Got it done here tonight. When we come back here on the Otters Hockey Postgame Show, highlights a very exciting Wednesday night between the Fish and the Otters. Erie Otters 7-4 victors here tonight as the crowd starts to disperse behind us, and now it's just the duty of cleaning up. Otters cleaned up here tonight. 7-4 victors. They finally beat Brampton. Don't take my word for it. Here's how it looked here. We will see on Friday night for 3-2-1 Friday. We leave you with the highlights from a very exciting Wednesday night in the OHL.
Femus throws one on net, trying to jam away at it, and this one will be taken away as it's moved up and away by Owen Cartwright. Back in, bottom of the left circle, moving down and in, they score! 10:45 to go in period number 1, and the Erie Otters strike first blood on home ice. They've been up and down this season, but they are more on the up right now. They are scoring on 25.6%, 1 for 4. Statistically this entire season. Those are not rookie numbers.
That's good numbers for the Otters power play, and there's been some shakeups. Now you got your power play guru back as well.
Moving this one in front, Alfano, they score! Sam Alfano falling down and gives the Otters a 2-0 lead. Moving its way up against the near wall. To the other Harding, Jared Harding up against the left wing side. It'll go for Mason Zabeski. Back in, right wing side, they score! 5:07 left to go in period number 1, and the Brampton Steelheads cut into that Erie Otters lead and allow the first goal allowed by Noah Erliden here on home ice in 3 games. Femus inside of the corner, centering it for Spence, over left wing side, shot! That one might have been robbed either by the stick or by the post. Either way, stays out of the net. Moved in top of the right circle, Martone loose in front of the net and finding its way back into the near corner. Starting to really bloom into their own. Femus, opportunity! Oh, Ivan Kovic with the 5-hole shuts the door. Top of the right circle. Moved over, mid-slot opportunity, working down, right in front, stop opportunity, and they score. Misa, power play goal, and we are knotted up in a 2-2 game, 14:31 to go. What a tactical power play for the Steelheads, to say the least. Moved over left wing side, shot in, they score! Brampton takes the lead. They have got a 3-2 lead, 3 unanswered goals. They throw it on net and it finds its way in. Jakob Fibiger leading the line. Steelheads turned over, Zidlicki again, shot, opportunity, they score by Malcolm Spence. Erie trying to get something going here, shorthanded. It's Carey Terrance and Spence. Spence shot, they score! It's a shorty for Malcolm Spence. Otters cut the lead to 1 goal for the Steelheads. The right circle, it'll go over for Edwards. Edwards, top of the left, Terrance, shot, score! Power play goal, and the Capitaine, we are tied! With it, well, we'll see if Erie can respond to this pressure. You have to have resiliency when you get the emotional high of having a goal. You need to answer with it, and they do! They score! Who else? Malcolm Spence again! And this one will count! Down it'll go on the goal line. Malcolm Spence sending his man down to the ice. Spence right in front! They score! Sam Alfano, his second of the night. Otters lead it 6-4. Here's Spence, rushing in after it. Fano, Femus, got it. Femus back, Alfano, he scores! Let there be